Right. All right. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome to the Sunnyside City Council regular meeting scheduled for today, December 8th, 2025. For the record, all members of council are here with the exception of Councilor Frausto. Councilor Frausto has asked for an excused absence this evening. She's not able to be here in person. She thought she might try to be on the Zoom, and I see her on the Zoom. So Councilor Frausto is actually present. So we'll make a note of that on the Zoom. And Councilor, are you driving or are you going to be able to be here for the entire meeting?
No, I'll be able to be here for the entire meeting.
Awesome. All right. Thank you for that. All members of staff are also present who are indicated to be here. So thank you for that. First item is our agenda approval. Council, we've had a couple of requests for some changes. Number one, there's a duplicate item. If you look at item B under the active agenda, we have item A and item B are duplicates. And so we want to remove item B from the agenda because we don't really have to repeat it. And then the other one is, and I'll let our manager explain it a little bit more, but we are being asked to adopt an ordinance this evening. Mr. City Manager, if you want to explain that just a little bit.
Yeah, we were notified that there was a change to state law regarding a minimum threshold for the business license. And so we didn't have that incorporated into our ordinances, so we need to add that to our ordinance. Basically, it's a $2,000. Any business that's making $2,000 or less does not have to apply for a city business license. So hopefully we can get that on at the end of the meeting tonight. We're processing the ordinance as we speak.
And the reason it's such a hurry is this has to be done before the end of the year. So Councilor Vasquez, you had a question?
Yeah, so before we move to approve the active agenda, you said item A and B were the same?
Yes.
Okay, because on A it says 300 block and B says 200 block. So there is a slight difference of numbers.
Okay.
So it is the same. I didn't catch that, but they are the same.
Okay,
So-
just want to make sure.
Yes, no, if we can have it removed, they're the same resolution.
Okay.
All right, Council, is there any other items that you would like to incorporate into this evening's agenda or to remove? Hearing none, what is the desire of council on the amended agenda?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Councilor Ripley, second by the Deputy Mayor to approve the agenda as amended. Is there debate on this item? Hearing none. Councilor Sasadi.
Yes.
Councilor Ripley.
Yes.
Councilor Frausto.
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez.
Yes.
Councilor Hart.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor.
Yes.
I too vote yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Is there someone here to do the invocation this evening? All right. May I ask that you please rise for the invocation and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We ask you to bless our city council members to make spirit-guided decisions that will help our community. We ask that you bless and keep our first responders safe, and that we could keep the peace this meeting and have the same goal of improving Sunnyside in mind. We also ask that you keep us safe tonight at the meeting and on our way homes, and in the sacred name of Jesus Christ, amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. All right, next item of business is public comments. We'd like to advise citizens that they must limit their remarks to the council to 3 minutes. Council may refer items to staff to review and or research for presentation at a future meeting. Typically, council doesn't necessarily respond individually to public comment, but we certainly listen and take notes. First name on my list is Sharon Dolan. Please approach the microphone, state your name, city of residence, and make your comments.
Sharon Dolan, resident of Sunnyside. I am here to thank Vicki Ripley for her years of service on council. Her, along with George Galvan, Vicki Frausto, and Karen Vasquez, listened to us when we had information that Monica Hofstetter has now brought up about finances that were wrong and not handled properly. The enterprise funds multiple times for multiple years. And Vicky listened to us, asked to see the data. And I really appreciate everything that Vicky did. And I hope that the new council will continue. Well, you're going to have to because the state auditors are going to come in, but you're going to have to listen and figure out what has gone on since the end of 2022 to the present with the city finances. So I hope the new council can work together to get that done. But Vicky, thank you so much for your time spent on council. Thank you.
Thank you. Next name on the list is Teresa Hancock.
I want to echo what Sharon just said.
Please state your name and city of
Lisa
residence.
Hancock, Sunnyside. I want to echo what Sharon just said. Back when I was on council, when we had surpluses and enterprise funds that made sense, Vicky would be here at every council meeting as a citizen and listened to the council meetings, listened to what was going on. She has been, you cannot argue that she has the best interest in Sunnyside in her heart. And she has just been a wonderful council member and a wonderful friend. I do want to challenge the new council members to listen to the community, listen to some of the more seasoned council members. Letitia, I was very glad to see you went to the AWC training. That's a first step, and thank you very much because that's very important. And I want to encourage all of you to get the training that's available to you because it's an eye-opener when you get it. So, and Vicki, thank you so much for all you've done. You've just been a quality person forever. So, thanks.
Thank you. Next name on my list is Jim Stevens.
Jim Stevens, Sunnyside. Friday night, we had I think that was the night of the farm parade, or it was Saturday night?
Friday night was a kids parade.
Saturday night. I wasn't here. But outstanding. We watched some of that on television. It was, from what I understand, was one of the biggest parades that we've had. And some of the floats were incredible. And the next morning, Sunday morning, about 6 o'clock, I was going down Edison Avenue, and there were about 30 people down there traveling up and down the street, picking up the leftover garbage from the parade watchers. That was absolutely fantastic. From what I understand, it was the 4-H kids and their parents that were doing that. And these are two events that I think really we can build on. Making Sunnyside, building it back up to the community that we once knew. And again, as these other folks have said, our council is going to be absolutely critical to that, to make sure that our finances are in order. In the past, they've been scrambled. We've had money going outdoors that we didn't even know that were open. And I think this council can do that. I'd like to see us build on this parade and the camaraderie that those people showed going down to take their time on a Sunday morning at 6 o'clock. It was pitch black out, and picking up garbage with their kids. So anyway, great things. We look forward to some good things with the new council as well. Thanks.
Thanks, sir. Next name is Britton Moore.
Good evening, everyone. Britton Moore, Sunnyside, Washington. I'd like to echo the past comments and thank Vicki Ripley for her very hard work the last several years here on council. She really dug in. She asked some very hard questions, really did your research, your records requests. Sadly, I don't think you got the answers that you wanted. Our latest finance director that was let go was asked to bring in her laptop by the finance committee, and she did not. She was then asked by our current city manager to bring her laptop in to answer questions while we're having meetings, and she did not. I don't think that that's proper procedure. So, and I don't think you ever got your answers, but I thank you for asking them because they were important questions. And sadly, we as the audience, the public, the people listening on Zoom didn't get to hear those answers either. So I want to thank Monica for her hard work. She's got 2 laptops over there. She's got answers. If she doesn't have the answer, she's certainly already on the search for the answer. And so I appreciate her hard work. I also want to bid our mayor a good farewell. It's, I think, everyone's last meeting, correct? And we haven't always seen eye to eye, but I appreciate your service, your dedication to the job as mayor, and wish you a good farewell. This is, I would have rather have been wrong, but sadly, I've been right for the last 3.5 years. The finances have been a mess. Many of you have listened. We are now at the point of complete destruction. And we've been called names, we've been called posters, we've been called compulsory groups, we've been called all kinds of things. Anyone who wants to come to me or the people that have been researching and ask questions, we have stacks and stacks of paper on our dining room tables. We have information, we have things that have been ignored. For new council, maybe we can see eye to eye on some things and get to the bottom of what's going on here, but there is more than just some nefarious things that have happened with the finances. And I just want us to get to the point where we can have a clean slate and go forward and work through it. But we need to visit the past so we can go forward. We can't just move forward from a messy slate. We've got to fix it. So,
Okay, sorry, ma'am, time.
all right, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, next name on the list is Cynthia Bateman. I think that's what it's correct. And if somebody can help her get the microphone down to where she can use that, that would be helpful.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Cynthia Bateman, and I'm here on behalf of Brian Galvan, who is Jorge Galvan's father. He was supposed to be here tonight, but a situation was brought up where he couldn't come into the parking lot, so I'm here on his behalf. We had brought up at last week's meeting how Jorge had stole his dad's trucks and his misdeeds that he's done to his father. We have all the proof right here. He had changed an application from Jim's Pacific Garage in Pasco. It's right here. We have an affidavit from the owner, and his own brother has, there is a situation where Jorge is saying that he is the owner of Trans-Pacific. It belongs to his brother, that Trans-Pacific had financed these trucks, which they hadn't. His brother, it's right in here where he said he had nothing to do with it, that you were it's all about you. And so I want to submit this on behalf of his father, who, and then I got a cease and desist letter from somebody that works for him, came to my house in the Tri-Cities and gave me a letter. And I'm not lying, Jorge, I'm sorry, it's all right here. So I want to submit all of this for you to look at and see, you know, everything that he has been up to, him and his wife and his mother. And I don't know if you know this, but your mom actually said to give.
Ma'am, you need to address council, not an individual member of council.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so anyways, I would like to submit this so that you guys can look through this and see everything that his father has been saying is true. And, you know, it's a lot of work that's been put into this, and I really think that all of you need to see this and make your decision. So.
All right, thank you. And if, you know, the city council doesn't really deal with civil or that sort of thing, but thank you for the information. And if you'd hand that to Mr. Mejia, he can take that. All right, thank you. You just, yeah, bring it here at the end of the meeting. All right, thank you. All right, thank you for your comments. Again, it is important for us as council to hear from citizens, and obviously you can contact us via email, phone calls, text messages, but it's also important to hear us here. I'm sorry? Oh, there's another, oh, okay, thank you. All right, well, there's another side to this paper. That's, and Aliciana Aguirre would like to speak, so please approach the microphone.
Good job.
Everybody signed up for the public hearing, that's the thing.
Oh.
She's the only one that signed up on the right one.
The right side.
Hi, I'm Lisa Gary, from Sunnyside. I know this is the last city council meeting before the new members are sworn in, and I want to share my gratitude. Sorry. I am very thankful to all of you. You were the city council members who didn't shut down my chicken ordinance and who listened to me even though I was one of your younger citizens in our community. I also appreciated your support in the proclamation that made November Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Sunnyside. To the mayor, it was honestly so crazy and exciting to be able to say that I got a ride in a gator with Santa Claus and the mayor of Sunnyside, and not just one, but 2 parades. I also loved getting the chance to talk about all the best food places in Sunnyside. To Ms. Ripley, it was also nice seeing you out at community events. Everyone on the city council has shown me kindness, and I'm so grateful for that. To the remaining council members, start to the new term, and I hope you have an awesome start to the new term, and I hope that the Youth Advisory Board stays on the top of your minds, so young people can have a voice in the decisions that involve us. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, Luciana. And that to everybody is the best part of being on council, when our young people engage and are part of that. So that's always the fun part. All right, and that is the end of the public comment period. Next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. Council, the consent agenda consists of the following: Microsoft Enterprise Agreement Renewal. Approve a resolution authorizing the interim city manager to enter into a 3-year Microsoft Enterprise Agreement with CDW Government, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $189,818.58 plus applicable taxes, and further authorizing a one-time $15,000 implementation fee to Robinson Tech plus applicable taxes. Yakima County Fire District Number 5, Automatic Aid for Structure Fire Response. Discuss a resolution authorizing the interim city manager to enter into an agreement with Yakima County Fire District Number 5 for automatic aid response for structure fires and provide direction of council consideration. Meeting date. I'm not quite sure. I think some of that text was brought in from the last. It's to approve the resolution, yes. All right. Then minutes. Approve the minutes of previous meetings. Payroll vouchers. Approve payroll vouchers numbers 15000 through 15210 and wire transfers as listed for $542,663.80 for the period ending December 5, 2025. Claim vouchers. Approve claim voucher numbers 15221 through 15331 and wire transfers as listed for $561,969.61 for the period ending on December 5, 2025. Council, is there any item that you'd like to pull from the consent agenda for discussion? Hearing none, what is the desire of council on the consent agenda?
I have one question.
Okay, Councilor Vasquez.
So since the Microsoft Enterprise Agreement is on the consent agenda, just for verification, the total amount is going to be covering the following 3 years, correct?
The total amount is for 3 years.
Perfect.
So the 189 and some change is
Mhm.
split up into 3 years, and you have equal payments for the next 3 years.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure with that. Thank you.
Further questions or comments? Mr. Deputy Mayor.
The EMS rate study, is that the total, the 3137? Or is that just like a payment? It's a transaction 15392?
I'd have to defer to Ms. Hofstadter on that one.
I believe there is some remaining on there still to be paid. It's not 100% paid yet.
Okay, if you could shoot us an email as to what the complete study costs, take a look at it. Thank you.
I can say that the original agreement was not to exceed 49,000 or something to that effect.
Okay.
Okay, further questions? Hearing none, what is the desire of council on this item?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All right. Motion by Counselor Hart, second by Counselor Vasquez to approve the consent agenda. Is there debate on this item? Hearing none. Counselor Frausto,
Yes.
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Counselor Sasadi,
Yes.
Counselor Vasquez,
Yes.
Counselor Hart,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor.
Yes.
I too vote yes, motion passes. Active agenda. West Edison Avenue vacation, public hearing and adoption. All right, and I have. Okay, I'm going to read the script into the public hearing. And the purpose of this public hearing is to receive public comment and adopt an ordinance of the vacation of a portion of unimproved right-of-way in the 300 block of West Edison Avenue. All right, this public hearing is being held to receive public comments and recommendations concerning West Edison Avenue right-of-way vacation. The concern is that this hearing be fair in form and substance as well as appearance. Council members, do any of you have a conflict of interest concerning this issue? Do any of you stand to gain or lose any financial benefit as a result of the outcome of this hearing? If your answer is yes, please speak now. Council members, can you hear and consider this in a fair and objective manner? If your answer is no, please speak now. Audience members, is there anyone in the audience who objects to my participation or any other council member's participation in these proceedings? If there are objections, please approach the microphone, state your name and city of residence, and state your objection. The time is now 6:21 p.m. and the public hearing is now open. City Manager, would you please provide the staff report on this item?
Yes. So Blue Mountain Ventures is in the process of wanting to develop the parcel of land. It's actually on the end of Elm Avenue. I believe 216 West Edison and 300 West Edison are the properties that front West Edison Street and adjoin Elm Avenue. And I think, Jackie, you want to pull up the map real quick? This has come to the council back on September 22nd. At that time, council directed staff to determine the value of that parcel of land. That parcel of land is no longer needed for right-of-way. It's a dead end, goes to basically to the railroad tracks. It's not going to proceed any further. The city will retain easement rights through that parcel for water, sewer, and for public power, gas, whatever infrastructure needs to go through. So with that, I stand for questions or public comment.
All right, so now the public comment section, I think, this is my suspicion that a number of people inadvertently signed up to do the public comment during the public hearing, and I don't know that you all intended to speak during the public hearing, am I correct? That would be everybody except for Ms. Aliciana who spoke previously. You didn't want, okay. Is there anybody who wishes to make public comment on this property vacation? If so, you may approach the microphone, state your name, city of residence, and make your comments. All right, seeing none. Council members, do you have any questions or comments on this item? Deputy Mayor.
Jackie, can you bring up the street view of that entrance? I'm really concerned on I guess the size, right? The plan is for this developer to build some homes in the back, in the empty lot. But looking at the entrance to that place, it looks more like a driveway. I know this says that it's a 50-foot easement, but more like 30. I was able to measure on the county GIS. So that's just my concern with all the traffic that could potentially be going through there. It's pretty narrow.
So on GIS, yes, it does. It's just 30 feet. But when we went out there and did the land surveyor, it is 50 feet. What happened is the two houses encroached in our right of way. So that's what we found out when they did the survey.
So what's gonna happen to those homes, I guess, if they did encroach on the right of way?
Absolutely nothing. I mean, they would just be instead of them having the little more property that they thought they had, it just goes back straight to their property line.
Because on one of the homes, it looks like goes up to like a foot or 2 feet away from the actual property. So is the new roadway or the new sideways gonna be up to
And it's not gonna be a roadway, it's gonna be a driveway to the development that they want to put. It is apartments back there. They did come to us back in September. Corey, Mr. Taylor and I, and Chief Holbrook, discussed it with them, and there are some revisions that they have to do. Just so we can all be on the same page, and also remember that safety and, health are our number one goals for all that, so.
No, and that's why my concern is because it looks like maybe a fire truck could barely go in there, but I mean.
Right. Understand. Have the property owners, the residents of those two houses on either side been advised that there might be some property changes?
To my knowledge, yes, they have been advised, and they at no time ever came and had a discussion with myself or anybody that I know of.
And thank you for advising. I did see the sign out there, but I guess sometimes we have to realize that some of these property owners, I'm not sure, I did look up the name and it was the same owner for both properties, but they might be renters, right? They might be somebody that either don't understand the language or maybe don't want to come into.
And that's why we did
Oh,
have it out there in Spanish also, just for that parent reason, because we want to make sure that we, obviously are able to let our residents know.
Just right there where she's going.
Okay, Counselor Hart?
Yes, I'm just curious as to whether or not Deputy Mayor mentioned the fact about fire trucks getting in through there. Is that going to be an issue, Chief?
So we did discuss that based on kind of initial drawings. We can't put the cart before the horse in the sense of until they start developing, we can't, but we did explain to them that the fire code requires a 20-foot width to be able to get apparatus through there. And then more importantly, allows us to, if we have to deploy the ladder truck, for example, that we have that width to be able to extend the outriggers and deploy the rig there. So that was discussed really until they actually start kind of breaking ground. We are talking hypotheticals at this point, but those requirements were made. The other one discussed too, which I don't believe is quite an issue here, is clearance height. Again, for our apparatus are fairly tall. And so making sure that we're able to clear height wise to get appropriate apparatus back there if it's required to do so.
And I know at the time that when we discussed this, the dry run, we did tell them that we would also like to see an egress out the backside, because obviously, as you're concerned, one way in, one way out, and we did think about that. So that was something that was mentioned during the meeting also.
Jackie, are you able to bring up the street view?
It's right there. Oh, the street view.
Yeah, that's just a street view, so council could get an idea of what it looks like.
Right there.
Yeah. So that does look really narrow.
Mhm.
And it doesn't look like we can
This,
widen that too much, especially on the property to the left.
Unless you knock down a tree, but
So
do that.
So the survey, when we did the survey out there, our property does go beyond the tree to my right, your
It was
left.
about a foot away from the building.
Yes. And then the other side, we are just where that power pole line, we are just on the left side of it, on my left, your right. So, that trailer that's, as you can tell in the back there, that is in our right of way.
Excuse me?
Yes.
It's
That
in
trouble-
our,
It is in our right of way, correct.
Okay, so I guess my concern is that we are, well, number one, able to widen access to that to make it more accessible to emergency vehicles. And number two, that we're not going to absolutely surprise the people living there when we come in with our equipment and start moving dirt.
No, and like I stated, to my knowledge, that they have been appraised of it. And like I said, no one's came to myself or Mr. Taylor at any time to speak of it. And I mean, we've been there and open to have a discussion over it. So.
And I get it, we have the process and the procedures, right, to notify the residents around it. I've actually been in the situation where my neighbor, I was notified and I missed it, right? And I know the language and I know, what to look for in the mail. I think you also mail it out.
We do.
But then again, is it the true owner, this probably doesn't live there because both, the owner owns both properties. So more than likely, he probably missed it too, right? I mean, I'm just concerned with especially having apartments back there, all the traffic coming in and out. And I did look at other options, but there's really no other options to get access to that property. So I mean, I don't know, a lot of questions still.
If I can add, Mr. Gavon, from an engineering standpoint, when you go down the freeway, those lanes are 12 feet wide. So you've got 2 lanes is 24 feet. So if that current access road is, I don't know, so you're probably looking at 20, 22 feet wide. To put 2 lanes of traffic either direction, 24 feet, we have 50 feet in there. I don't think, when the plans come through, we can certainly see what their plan is for that, to do that. I personally, I like to see at least a wider throat to give us an in and out, a left turn lane, if you will, coming out and a right turn through. But we'll take a look at that. But it doesn't seem to be that way, but 12 feet is the typical lane width on a freeway, so.
Gotcha.
And to give you an instance, I believe the roads in the Ajo subdivision are 32 feet. So.
Okay. And they're a little painful sometimes.
They are.
32 feet.
But there will not be any parking allowed on this right of way, on the remaining right of way for the city.
Further questions or comments from council? I have one that I just want to clarify. Councilor Vasquez brought up the difference in the block number as 300 block versus the 200 block. And I'm noticing that the address up there was 257 West Edison. That would be the 200 block as opposed to the 300 block.
Well, both, so it goes 216, 300. So that's why I said it in the 300 block-ish.
Okay.
So then I put the address between 216 and 300 West Edison.
Okay, so just wanted to make sure that we are vacating the correct piece of land.
Yes, yes.
Okay, further questions or comments? All right, hearing none, this public hearing is ended at 6:32 PM. All right, council, we have this ordinance before us. Adopt an ordinance on the vacation of the portion of unimproved right-of-way in the 300 block of West Edison Avenue. Is there discussion on this item? Hearing none, what is the desire of council on this item?
Move to approve. I'm not sure where to begin on the moving of the approving.
Okay, we have a motion.
I guess, is there a second?
Okay, if there's no second,
What's the move to approve the vacation of resolution?
okay, the chair's gonna second it. Just for debate, I'm curious as to what council members, why council members are holding off. Is there an issue with this? It's something that I perhaps am not familiar with, but I'm certainly curious to hear from council. What are your concerns? And Councilor Zasadi.
Well, like you, I'm not, familiar with this, but I'm also like Jorge, did the owners actually get the letters, read it, understand it? I know this happened years ago at my parents' home, and even though the language was in English, for like, what the heck does this mean or whatever, And then I think there was a comment about there's not going to be any access to parking. Do we know, like, the houses that are already there, it looks like there was a van parked on the grass, or is there already no parking? Like, what is going to happen to those vehicles?
So there is parking in the back there. As you go down, there is parking behind that house. See how there's a garage back there? So they'll still have access to their garage.
And it's my understanding, Mr. Mejia, that the apartment complex are planning back there, they're planning on parking for that apartment complex as well. That's going to be back there, correct?
Yes.
So that's why there's no parking going to be allowed on that driveway. But there still will have parking access
behind
to the apartment complex and to the individual homes.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Other concerns?
For me, very similar. I just want to make sure that we get some sort of confirmation that both owners, if not even like renters, both all like renters and owners are aware. I just want to confirm that they are aware because like Letty mentioned, the van is parked right there. Are they going to be okay with this? Because then there will be traffic in the middle of those two properties in and out all the time. And it can be a bit dangerous. And I don't know, even maybe if there's a way to put a fence or some sort of protection for children. My concern is that's their yard. It's children's yard. Cars are going to be coming in and out. How safe is it really going to be for them? And I just want confirmation that they are aware of this.
Okay, and
And I'd be more than happy to stop by tomorrow. Also, when we send out letters, we do look up the addresses, and if it does say that there are renters, we do make sure we send it to the owners of the property, because we go off the parcel numbers. So
Do they get back to you?
no one's getting back to me, because they have the right, when we tell them, obviously we want to hear everybody's concerns, and we have not received anything back.
Is that close by, well, wait,
go ahead, Council.
is that close by the, what was it, the trailer park where everybody keeps parking on the canal side because there's not enough parking in the mobile home park?
It's heading towards south.
Yes, it's down the road from it. I can't tell you how far it is from it, but yes, it's down a ways.
Uh-huh.
So, and there is, we do have no parking signs over there at the canal because people, obviously, like you stated, we don't want people falling in. So we did put no parking signs, when I came on, and, that way we can make sure that takes care of that problem. So, but, yes,
Yeah, it's a little further down from.
further
it's right
down.
next to it.
yes.
Council Hart?
I was just thinking too, if it's along the canal, that's probably SVID's responsibility as well as to have no parking along there, no driving on the ditch bank or parking there.
Correct.
So that should also help to monitor that. I think that as you can see, there is room in the back of the one house that's on with the mailboxes in front of it, where the trailer or the van is parked. I think that if you've made every opportunity to contact the owners of the facility, if they're not responding, is there a problem with us continuing with vacating
The right of way actually belongs to the city already. I mean, that's what we're
That's-
vacating and is going to be handed over to the developer. So it's going to be widened, it's going to be improved. I think the concern about fencing and children playing is a valid concern, especially during construction with construction vehicles going through. That I don't know if the city's not going to have the responsibility to put that in, but I think the city can mandate that be put in. I don't know if we can make the developer do that or what we can do with that, but
And we can suggest it to the developer once they bring their plans back and after they've done all the corrections that we've asked. And, for everybody's peace of mind, I'm willing to contact the owner again and make sure that he understands or she understands, what we're thinking of doing. And then inform you guys through an email to let you know that I did do my best to make contact.
okay. Further comments or debate on this item?
No, and I
Vasquez.
just want to thank you, Hector, for sending that information along. However, if they could also, if there are renters, if they could also be notified, that way there isn't any miscommunication all
Almost
around.
definitely. I'd be more than happy to stop by tomorrow during the day and try to make contact with them.
Yeah, and I guess that's it from me. I just want that confirmation before we move forward.
Okay.
So thank you.
Deputy Mayor?
So don't get me wrong, right? I want developers to come to Sunnyside and build apartments, houses, but most of these developers, they're not going to see, the safety part of doing something like this, especially on a narrow driveway like that. And I think it's our responsibility to say, hey, it's too narrow. I mean, to me, it's too narrow. If the homes encroach on the right of way, then, that's a different situation. But I don't know how we can, this is pretty much giving the developer like, okay, let's go ahead and move, let's move a little bit closer to starting the project. But at the end of the day, it's us vacating something for that project to happen. And in the safety aspect, I just don't see me supporting it for that reason.
Okay, I mean, and and if there's anything else that I can do to revisit, I mean, I'd be more than happy to. I mean, if you would like to sit down with me and we can rediscuss this and if there's any suggestions that I can ease your mind with what I can do.
Okay, Counselor Ripley?
Can we take a test run on the fire truck and see if it'll go in there?
It won't go in there right now. With the way it is, I can guarantee you it won't go in there.
Okay.
So
But we do that frequently, Counselor.
Counselor Hart?
I'm just thinking, as far as it's our right of way that these houses are encroaching on. So they should really have their property lines realigned anyway. And this is an opportunity for that to happen.
Correct.
And in the interest of safety, as far as being able to get a fire truck or any kind of fire apparatus back down into where those other homes are, just even there where the ones that are behind the ones on the front of Edison, that's also already a danger, isn't it? Because you aren't difficult to get a truck in there anyway.
Correct. As it stands, most of our suppression activities would be from West Edison, but if there's future development back behind it, then that would be our concern at that point. Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
And Council, we have a precedent as well. There was another development that came into town where we required the developer to change the street so that an emergency vehicle could get in and make a turnaround, and we required that to happen. So that's not something that has never happened. So, I mean, we can have some requirements for public safety.
This is the owner?
Yeah.
So Mayor, I believe the owner of the developer just stepped in. I think can you
Sorry, guys.
allow him to speak?
All right, yes, go ahead, state your name and city of residence and make your comment, sir.
All right, guys. My name is Miguel Orozco. Me and my wife were the owners to the property. We felt like we had to come down because we don't want to delay this process any longer. We've been working on this all year long, and all your guys' questions already been in the packet that we've delivered. All the surveying for how wide this road is already on there. As long as fencing, it's already there. You guys have already posted the signs on all the fencing. So I don't see what the deal is on safety. We're a developer and we do everything right and as supposed to. We've gone over the guidelines, city ordinances. And if you guys got any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right, council, questions for Mr. Orozco? Ms. Vasquez?
Yeah, so I guess I'll just start off with, this is the first that we're hearing of this information, like the fencing.
Yeah.
So I guess there's just maybe been some sort of miscommunication, where it's not visible, right? Like we're looking at it right
Of
now and
course,
it's not
yeah.
visible. So we just have questions. We just want to make sure that everything's safe all around.
Okay.
So thank you for answering that question.
course.
Anybody else? Deputy Mayor?
Is there an SMC that states how wide a road can be, or minimums?
We have minimum road standards. I don't have those number in front of me, but we do have minimum road width standards for local access roads all the way through major arterials.
Yeah, that road's about 50 feet wide, so. And that's city property already, so that doesn't belong to the tenants on either side. And to clarify, we've spoken directly to the owners about the project. They're pretty on board with it. We try to buy out the 2 houses there to renovate them because the conditions of them are pretty bad. So that's going to affect rent rates, but they didn't want to move forward with it, which is fine, but we still need to continue on our project as well, so.
Okay, further questions? Mr. Orozco, I thank you for coming in. It is in our interest to see continued development, and I think your plan has a great deal of merit. But at the same time, council also has a responsibility to look at all sides of the angle, which is why these questions came up, because this is a council that takes their responsibility seriously.
100%. And that's totally fine. I'm just here to answer them and not delay this process any longer. So, of course, if it's up to anybody that lives in the area, I mean, who wants more traffic though, and why not, But that's what this hearing's for. And I'm speaking up for what I got to do to move forward with development in Sunnyside. So,
all right. Thank you for
Do you have one more
coming in.
question?
Another question, Councilor Vasquez.
So just with the fencing, it's there for it to remain, correct? It's not like
oh
temporary.
yeah, no,
nothing
100%.
temporary.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
there to remain, and and just get improvements as well. So the fence was put up maybe about 5 months ago, and
Nice.
it's gated, so nobody could enter. You could actually pass by and the sign, the billboard's right there posted on it, and it's locked up, so nobody could enter. And once construction starts, it will actually have access off the backside of it, and nobody could enter through that way because that's private property. Actually, Melanie's owns the parking lot back there.
Nice. And if, you know, as regards as like the van parking in the back, will they have parking more towards the back or towards the front?
Oh, no. So each apartment unit's gonna have 2 spaces per apartment unit, and they're all designated in the back. Nobody's gonna be able to park in the right of way or anything like that.
Okay. And the current 2 homes in front as well.
Oh, yeah. So they'll have access. So once we do the improvements, they could actually park in the back of their homes like they currently are, or in the front of their driveways. But nothing's going to be any different from what it is now. It's still a roadway there and block it. So.
Okay. Well, thank you for implementing that and the safety and taking care of that.
Oh, of course. Yeah, not a problem.
Further questions or comments? All right, council, we have a motion on the floor to vacate this piece of property. If there's no further debate, we'll go down the list and we'll start with Councilor Hart.
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez.
Yes.
Councilor Frausto.
Yes.
Councilor Ripley.
Yes.
Councilor Sasadi.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor.
No.
And I too vote yes. Motion passes. Thank you. And thank you, sir, for coming in. I appreciate that. I get the feeling that you were watching this online and you hustled down here real fast. Well, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for doing that. That's a sacrifice on your part, but that obviously it bore fruit. So thank you. Item C, Capital Path Consulting Presentation. Receive a presentation regarding Sunnyside's 2026 visit to the legislature. Mr. City Manager.
Yes, we have Kayla and Daniel from Capital Path Group. Like to put a presentation on regarding the 2026 visit to the legislature.
And are they on the Zoom? There they are. All right. Kayla and Daniel. You are muted.
Oh, no. Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Okay. Perfect. Cool. I think, do you guys have the PowerPoint pulled up? I can't see.
She's working on it.
Okay, great.
Bring it up.
And before we get started, we also have John Colton on as well, who's my business partner, and he does the federal work. So we'll also do a quick touch base on federal, everything happening at the federal government as well. Let me know whenever you have the PowerPoint rolling.
It always feels like it takes twice as long when you're waiting.
I know.
As we all awkwardly stare at each other. This is
Yes.
great. No pressure. No pressure. Okay, perfect.
All right, it's up.
So, okay, next slide. Excellent. So I think new folks are here. We'll just introduce ourselves. We've also grown quite a bit. So I'm Kyla Scarich Blair, principal at Capital Path Consulting. I do all their state work. John, do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, John Colton, Capital Path Consulting principal, and I do all the federal items for the firm.
Daniel.
Great, and I am Daniel Palethorpe, and I assist Kyla at the state mainly.
Awesome. And then not here tonight, but on the screen is Aaron Asmus. He helps with grant matrices, which we'll talk about a little later. And then Marcy Miller is our boss who keeps us all rolling in the right direction and make sure we're doing good work for you all. Next slide. So before we get into the legislative agenda, I just want to give a quick overview of kind of the state of play at the state level this year. You'll be shocked to know that there's no money at the state. So let me jump into that really quick. Next slide.
Big surprise.
So we're headed into a 60-day legislative session. This is a short session. So what that means is they will do a supplemental budget where they'll just simply balance the budget. Last session, we were there with you all and they were implementing new budgets. So we went and advocated for some items, which we'll discuss a little later. But this year they'll just be balancing the budget. Another thing I want to point out is that it is an election year for our legislature. So we'll have 98 representatives and 24 senators either up for re-election or those will be seats that are open. I say all of that just to put some context around session. Last session, we also saw increased revenue over 4 years. We'll see $9 billion in new revenue over 4 years. It was the largest revenue package passed in state history. Along with that, because of the deficit in the budget, we also saw a lot of programs delayed, not cut, delayed. Next slide. So budgets. We will see the governor's budget by the end of December. We're hearing that he will use his time right up until the end of December to release his budget, just given the revenue projections and what we're facing. Operating budget, like I mentioned last year, we had a $16 billion shortfall. We're expecting another 1 to 1.5, maybe more $billion shortfall on top of that this session. Well, they did pass all of that revenue. It's starting to trickle in, but it's not coming in quite as rapidly as they maybe had expected. And we're still facing the shortfall. On top of that, we're seeing cuts from our federal government coming down to the state and impacting the state. The governor put out a statement. Well, no, he didn't put out a statement. He made a statement the other day that said he would be making an all cuts budget, which means he won't look for revenue and instead he will balance the budget via cuts to 2 different programs. The Senate and House members who work on the budget don't love that idea. And there are definitely conversations around new revenue and what that could look like for the state going forward. I will say on the operating budget, they're really going to look at where are the federal cuts coming and how are those impacting our state and then how do they backfill. My guess is those will be top priority as they look to balance the budget. Capital budget is looking better, but it's still going to be a challenge just given the supplemental year, but it will be, it's in better shape than the operating is. And transportation is actually doing better than expected. They will look for new revenue for some maintenance projects, but those will be in contracting fees, et cetera. Those won't be paid for by gas tax or what have you. Next slide. So as I mentioned, the urgent backfill need is really where they're going to be focusing. So there were cuts to early learning. There were cuts to coming down from Medicaid. Where else will there be cuts? SNAP, et cetera. They will look to backfill those cuts that are made, and those are going to be their number one priority. Both the Democratic Senate caucus and the House Democratic caucus, they always go to what are the critical programs first, and how do we fund those first? Then everything else comes after that. And what they prioritize as first is based on their values that they set for themselves during their retreats. Again, they'll be maintaining critical services. What that means is they're going to look at where they could make cuts or further delay. So we're going to look at things like Public Works Board could take a hit in funding. And I know that that's critical to small cities and municipalities across the state. They're going to further delay programs. What does that look like for early learning? And then again, do they look for new revenue? As I mentioned on the first slide, it is an election year. What does that mean for legislators as they look to new revenue? What else is out there? The first revenue proposal came forward with an increased tax on large businesses, B&O tax on large businesses that would raise maybe $2 billion a year. I'm going off the top of my head here, but $2 billion a year in new revenue for the state. I'm not sure that's going to move forward, but it's the first revenue package that was put on the table this legislative session. Next slide. So before I hand it over to Daniel for draft legislative priorities, I just want a quick reminder. Last session, we had some folks come down to Olympia, and we were very successful. We were down there meeting with legislators, and we were able to secure just under $1.3 million for local community projects. Daniel's going to walk through what those are. Now that we have the contracts from Commerce, we have to make some slight adjustments. So we'll be working on that this session to make slight adjustments to those funds that we receive, but we've been working with the department and we'll work with legislators, so those should be fine. But we had a good, successful year last session, and I suspect the same will be true this session. Daniel, you want to?
Yes. That slide's great. So the city received $1.25 million across 3 different projects, and the first project is the downtown gazebo rebuild at Centennial Square. And in conversations with staff, due to the good condition of that park already, the city will be, we're going to be asking Commerce and the legislature to amend it to allow the city to pursue potentially buying the property adjacent and using some of the remaining funds to kind of expand the services and the space there for vendors, as was originally in the intent of the funding. The second project is the City of Sunnyside Community Pool. This is $500,000 for maintenance and upgrades at the pool. Again, in conversations with staff, the pool is in good working order, and instead you're going to be working to amend it so that the funding could be used on both minor upgrades, but also potentially a splash pad, in conversation with community partners who are also going to be working to raise funds for that. The third project is not Tiny Noth Park, it's Tina Noth Park. Apologies, I think that was a casualty of spell check. That one is a very small tweak, just so that we will not be buying, or the city will not be purchasing bleachers. And so that is such a small tweak that we can work directly with the Department of Commerce, and it does not require legislative action. All of these tweaks are very much in line with the original intent of the funding, and so we do not expect there to be significant issues at the legislature. This is a process. These are amended every year. The timeline for spending these funds is by July 1 of 2027, and in conversations with staff, it appears the city will be able to still accomplish that on the given timeline. Next slide. Great. As Kyla mentioned, there is still funding in the capital budget for projects, and staff has identified well 10 as a potential place for needed funding. The funds would be between $300,000 and $800,000. We're still waiting on final report out exactly what the cost would be to install the necessary equipment to clean the water that comes out of well 10 and attach that to the system so it can operate and provide the city water. That'll be the primary capital ask. It seems very much within the range of what is possible during a supplemental budget. Couple of other items on these draft priorities, including maintaining funding for CURB, which is the Community Economic Revitalization Board. It is one of the Public Works Board funding buckets that cities utilize. And so we've identified this as a critical one and one that we think we can help protect. We also just have a general ask to protect the revolving loan funds, all of them. There's a bunch of them depending on how broad you make that category. The last one in terms of economic development is funding for the Associated Development Organization of the ADO. So these are county organizations that provide economic development work throughout Yakima County, and this seemed like an important ask for a regional partner. Next slide. Great. And then kind of a broad category of governance, public safety, and homelessness. There is an ask here, for additional state support on indigent defense or public defense costs. This costs the city about $250,000 per year. Again, as was mentioned at the top, there is little to no operating funds, and so this is going to be next to impossible, but we think this is part of a continued advocacy, a long-term approach, so that the state increases the support to municipalities to cover these costs. Also, we have a general ask for funding for public safety needs, both in the operating and capital. It'll probably be more successful in the capital space for this session. Lastly, we've identified the Encampment Resolution Program as one potential program where the state provides support out to cities for addressing the effects of homelessness. This is an opportunity to expand this program or create other programs to provide reimbursement and also funds or grants to cities to do this important work. Again, just to say it out loud, very challenging this year, but I think this is a long-term strategy play. And I'm going to pause here before we turn to federal if there's any questions, input, or anything that we can amend with these
Council
draft
questions or
items.
comments?
Um,
Councilor Hart.
yes, on the homelessness encampment resolution program there, that's would be to provide funds for, it says city-owned properties to help address unsanctioned encampments. Could you kind of elaborate on that just a bit? I'm not sure I quite understand that.
You want me to take that, Daniel?
Daniel?
Sure. Sure, go ahead, Kyle.
It's to offer both services for the homeless population in the city, as well as if there's any maintenance or cleanup that might need to happen in city parks, etc. Local governments can utilize this program to help both services and then as well as any cleanup or maintenance that need to happen in the city parks as it relates to unhoused individuals.
I guess what I'm is
Go ahead,
that right?
Counselor.
I guess what I'm asking is like if the city was to find some property that they could help establish some sort of an encampment for homeless folks, would that money be for that?
No, this is more of reactive is not the right word, but reactive. So if you need to interject immediately, then you can use these funds, but there are other more proactive funds out there that we can point to as well in order to build space.
So basically cleaning up as opposed to setting up.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Other questions?
I have a question.
Councilor Fausto.
Hi, Kyla. Nice to see you.
To see you.
So I actually had housing here on my list to ask about, but it was more in the regards, I think, and aligning with Councilor Hart's question. Is there anything that we can do or ask the legislature around services? So right now the city is dealing with a shut down community center, which eliminated youth programming. Because of our deficit, we've been in conversation of even having to deal with the services to our seniors. In terms of homelessness, it's an issue that's been definitely increasing here in Sunnyside, but more so than reactive, it would be instrumental to get something as more of a gets direct services. Or I've had community members reach out and ask if we were going to have warming shelters this year. I know we did it one year, but it wasn't very structured. And just wondering what our capacity is to be able to maybe prioritize some of these, or how our asks can shift.
Yeah, we can definitely highlight some bucket of funding, both for community center, youth programming, and senior services kind of bucket. And then also on some more proactive services for the homeless population in the area, warming shelters. I believe there's some specific funding out there for that as well. But I can go back and do some research on what those buckets are, and then we can add those to the agenda and make it proactive as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Councilor Fausto, thank you for your question, because I have some of the same concerns. As people know, I've been a big proponent of the warming shelters. When it gets incredibly cold, there are people who are suffering miserably, and if we have the capacity within our city to keep them from suffering, I'm all in favor of us keeping people warm and safe. So if there is funding to be found for that, or something that we can do to make that sort of thing happen, I'd certainly like to see something in place. Because I don't know, the thought of people freezing in a home that doesn't have heat, or freezing in a tent because they live on the street, is absolutely appalling to me. And so I would love us to have some sort of a place for them in the event of a real cold weather, which we get for a week or two every winter. And it just bothers me to see people out there suffering. So
Definitely. There is legislation around warming shelters, and it in essence streamlines permitting, but there might be some funds in there. So Daniel, let's look at that too.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no further questions, continue.
Great. Mr. Colton.
Hello, everyone. Slide, please. Pretty picture. Slide, please. All right. So right now, Congress is in the middle of passing 9 of the 12 appropriations bills. So 3 bills already passed with the recent continuing resolution negotiation, which, as you remember, the federal government was shut down for 43 days, the longest in history. As a part of reopening the government, there were a couple negotiating points. One, that there would be a vote on the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare subsidies. And then the other was that 3 of the appropriations bills, being agriculture, the legislative branch, and military construction VA, those bills passed. And so now we've got 9 more, and that's what Congress is doing right now. They have until January 30th. That is when there would be another shutdown if Congress does not either, 1, pass these 9 appropriations bills, or 2, pass another continuing resolution. You can see from the slide deck, you've got defense, commerce, justice, science, labor, HHS, and so on. I trust the council will be getting the slides. So you don't have to listen to me walk through the PowerPoint. Of course, happy to answer any other questions in terms of what these appropriations bills do. Now, there are issues with passage of some of these bills. Slide, please. So, first of all, the defense bill, the Senate, as you see, wants to focus more on Army increases, where the House is more in line with the president's focus on Space Force, the Golden Dome missile defense. Through commerce, justice, and science, you see there's an almost $3 billion gap. And the Senate approves more the National Science Foundation, that's what NSF stands for, funding than the House does. So this is very interesting as well. The Interior Environment Appropriations Bill. This is incredibly important for Sunnyside, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Right now, the House wants significant cuts to EPA and clean water revolving funds. The Senate, as it usually does, kind of keeps the same level. There's also some land management issues that have got to get worked out. And then other bills like labor, HHS, which is NIH funding, transportation and HUD for housing, and so on and so forth. You know, it's really, most of those are just funding gaps that the House and Senate are going to have to reconcile. Slide, please. So the Interior Environment Bill. Inside that bill is $2.1 million and change for the city's FY26 appropriations request, and that is for well 14. The thing to know is upon passage of the Interior Appropriations Bill, the agency will reach out to establish a grants relationship, because this is a lot like a grant. However, if Congress passes a CR in the short term, we will not get, the city will not receive its funding until it passes the appropriations bill. If anyone ever hears any rumblings of a full year CR, this is very bad, because if there's a full year CR, the city will never receive its funding. So passage of this bill is incredibly important. So I encourage you to set a Google Alerts or something like that, because we're all very interested in the Interior Appropriations Bill, I'm sure. All right, slide, please. And I talked about the ACA subsidies. So right now, Senate Democrats, as well as House Democrats, are pushing for a clean 3-year extension of the ACA subsidies. Republicans have not been super excited about that. So right now, Senate Republicans are kind of, kicking around a couple of different ideas. One that could result in direct payments to HSA accounts. Senator Cassidy, who is chair of the Health, Education, Labor, Pension Committee, is one member driving that. And then on the House side, there is actually a bipartisan group that's looking at different income limits and different safeguards. So high earners are not receiving subsidies. There's also concern that not everyone receiving insurance necessarily needs it or even knows. So taxpayers are paying for individuals who are not utilizing the service. So there have also been conversations about some kind of small copay for utilizers of the program, regardless of income levels. Slide, please. All right. So what are we going to ask for this coming year? So Hector, myself, and then Jim brought us into a project. It's the wastewater treatment plant. Of course, there's a lot of updates that have to be done. Our next request is going to be $2 million, and that's for some infrastructure and installation of UV disinfection equipment. Hector, Jim, feel free to give the council all the public works perspective on the project. But that is what has been discussed as our ask that we'll be making of Representative Newhouse, Senator Murray, and Senator Cantwell. By the way, I will make a note, it was Senator Murray who approved our appropriations request for FY26. Slide, please. Okay, I'm showing you a House and Senate schedule for 2026 because just like council members went to Olympia, I do suggest that the mayor, council members, staff, whether it's 1, 2, or however many people, come or go to DC, and the firm will host you and take you around to all the congressional offices. And we can also meet with agencies if we have policy items that we want to go through. But most importantly, it's really to be there in person on the Hill to advocate for the city and advocate for our project. Slide, please. And if the council would like, because you'll be getting these slides, here's just a general roadmap of why we're doing what we do when we do it. So it's just kind of the federal appropriations timeline. All right, slide, please. And then before we talk about the grants matrix, maybe let's just pause for a second to see if we have any questions on the federal side.
Council members, questions or comments?
What was that? CR?
Councilor Hart, go ahead.
Sure. So CR stands for a continuing resolution. Basically, when Congress cannot pass appropriations bills, they will pass a continuing resolution. And what that means is that we are funding the government at the exact same level that we funded the year before. So in a FY26 continuing resolution, it just means that for the time being, all of the programs are being funded at the FY25 levels.
You said something to the effect that those continuing resolutions might go away. Is that what you were saying?
No. So right now, Congress is operating under a continuing resolution. And it's just it's a funding mechanism where if the Senate and the House cannot agree to sometimes they need a longer period of time to pass the appropriations bills. So what they'll do is they'll pass a short-term continuing resolution that maintains stability of funding. It just doesn't approve any kind of new funding or reduced funding. It's just kind of a placeholder while Congress can negotiate longer.
Thank you.
Of course.
Further questions or comments? Hearing none, continue.
All right. Lastly, we have, So we have a grants matrix. So every month, what the firm provides the city, we give it to Jim, and Hector, and staff. And essentially, it's what you see before you. It lays out what federal and state programs are out there. And it tries to match them with projects on your capital improvement plan or transportation improvement plan. We show, contact information, what the funding floor and ceilings are, so we know if it's something we even want to go after, whether it's posted or forecasted, and when it comes out, when it closes, as well as local match. Because of course, as we go through these, going after these, funding sources, if there's a 20% match, that could have pretty significant implications on the budget. And so that's something that we provide to Jim. I will say Jim knows these programs very, very well. So it's usually just us talking about the program and him saying, yes, we should do it. We should do this with that program. So anyway, that's what we have.
All right, thank you very much. And once again, council, do you have comments or questions on this? I do want to say that we do have some council members who, after this past year, have some experience in Olympia, and now we have an opportunity perhaps to present in Washington, D.C. as well. And I would encourage council members to take advantage of that. I think that it's an opportunity for us to lobby in favor of our community, to make some connections there, and see if we can bring some positive back to the city of Sunnyside for the benefit of our community. So give that some thought. I'm not sure what the cost outlay is going to be for the city on that, but I think that can potentially bring us a great deal of benefit, kind of the way the trip to Olympia last year did for those of you who went. And I am grateful for the council members who went last year. Your trip was very productive. And so to be able to do that sort of thing, I think is of great benefit to our city. So, Deputy Mayor.
Jackie, can you send us those slides to our emails, please? Thank you.
All right. Any other comments or questions on this item?
Thank you very much for the rundown. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd like to echo that. Thank you very much. I found it very interesting. And I get the sense that most council did as well. So I think we're seeing some potential here. So I'm going to guess we'll be back in touch with you on these items and continue to move forward with it. So thank you so much for that.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Fausto.
Just for clarity, for direction, are y'all going to be scheduling with Jim potential dates to, I believe this time y'all are trying to go to Washington, D.C.
We'll do both.
Oh, okay, both. Okay.
Daniel, did we send an email for Olympia yet? I'm trying to remember.
I'll double check, but I'll resend it in any case.
We'll resend it just in case and get you a
Thank
date.
you.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work, just let us know and we'll figure out a different date. But just trying to get folks scheduled ahead of time.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I do have to confess, I'm a little bit jealous. For 2025, I was out of the country. And for 2026, I will no longer be on council. So for me to go on these trips is not an option, but I do encourage council members to take those steps and take advantage of those opportunities. I think it's a phenomenal opportunity for us in the city of Sunnyside to benefit this community. So thanks again.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the 2026 budget adoption. Adopt an ordinance adopting the city budget for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026 and ending December 31, 2026. Mr. City Manager.
This is a huge pile of.
I'll turn this over to our Finance Director, Monica Hofstetter.
Ms. Hofstetter.
Hello. I will give you a little forewarning. So the books that are made were
So this one
yes.
is,
So you can ask the gentleman to my right here. I worked all weekend and nothing saved because this is like the third time this happened. I'm very happy you guys are getting this updated email system to where we'll have a SharePoint. If the computer sleeps at all, when I wake it back up, all the work I do doesn't save, even though it looks like it's attached. And so all of my spreadsheets, everything, not there anymore. So I was in the middle of making these books, looked down and was like, those aren't the right numbers. What happened? And then had to go back and try and fix the first 31 pages really fast for you guys. So it was, it's quite frustrating. It's happened a couple times, but that's because we have an older system right now that does not, when we save things, it does not save to a cloud. We have to save everything to our server. And so we can get disconnected from that quite easily.
Are these the correct numbers then?
They should be. You have the
so
compensation schedule in there. You have the fee schedule, the classification schedule, and then in the back you have the spreadsheet that we had discussed prior. That is the proposed budget. Those numbers should be on the table that you see on page.
Okay.
Put my glasses on. Page 20.
Page which?
20.
Is that the loose one, Monica? Because there's this loose thing here that says,
That's your 25 budget position. That's not,
that's not the same.
No.
That's
In the book.
this.
so my book only goes up to page 12. It's, well, I'm looking for page numbers here and I'm,
No, go to the front. So the back has additional
okay.
information, and I added that because of the book not printing correctly. So I put the fee schedule in the back, and then you'll see those 12 pages. And then as well as the fee schedule, you're going to see the spreadsheet that was presented prior that you guys had spoken about agreeing to the pool and.
Okay. So now we're on page 20
Yes.
in the front part.
So
Okay.
those are the numbers that we had finalized the last time we had spoke regarding the 26 budget that provided with pool staffing part-time, and I emailed out the pool schedule that are the hours of people, and then also providing part-time for the senior center, some hours there, and then everybody else remaining as where they were, except for those few frozen positions. If you look at the compensation and class schedule, you'll see that there are some items that were zeroed out, and those are the ones that we had mentioned that we were either going to reduce or zero out some of those positions. And then, for instance, the seasonal staffing is reduced to half of what it would normally be. Normally, there's 12 temporary seasonal maintenance staffing, and we reduced that down to 6. The request to put the assistant water supervisor is on there as well.
What page is that on?
So the compensation starts on, or the schedule starts on page 25.
Yeah. With the assistant supervisor?
Correct.
Is
That
on
was
there.
going to be on 26, and that's under the Public Works Teamsters positions.
Gotcha. Quick question. You still have 8 communications officers officers listed. My understanding, due to when Toppenish went away, it went down to 6. Should that be
Is it at
updated to
6?
6?
Correct. It's going to be
Okay.
6 with 1 supervisor. Yep.
So that can
So
be,
that's
I can
this-
change that one to 6.
Yeah, because it says 8 right there.
Deputy Mayor?
So, Monica,
Mhm.
I'm really grateful for everything you're doing. Doing this on the weekends, right? You should be with your family, enjoying yourself, but you're taking the initiative and helping us out. And I wish we would have asked more questions last year, but unfortunately, we didn't. But now you're here helping us. The only thing that I see is that, with that being said, this is the first time, well, not the first time, but it's the first time where we were seeing the updated one in full effect. And I know that we want to pass it tonight, but is it possible to maybe schedule a special meeting for the last week of December? That way we could definitely look at, the pages and see if we have any further questions or any further,
I know
I will-
to answer your question, state law requires that we pass a balanced budget before the end of the calendar year.
Mhm.
So, I know council in the past, not when I was on council, but has spent just before Christmas out there debating a budget to try to get it passed. We do have a week after Christmas in which we could do that if we chose to do that. Councilor Vasquez.
No, I share some concerns as well. I just have some reservations. As what you were just sharing, right? Your experience right now that you lost your information, you had to put it all in really quick. I just want to be certain that all the information is
The only information I had to put in was the book.
the
The
book.
spreadsheet is the same.
Okay.
Yeah, all the numbers are still the same numbers that we discussed last time. So everything we had discussed previously is all the same.
Okay.
Let's.
No, but
Councilor Vasquez has the floor.
yeah, but to finish, this is also like, we're barely getting the books and for us to just vote yes right now, I feel like a lot that we need to digest. And I would feel more comfortable having some more time going over it all.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm.
I feel the same way. I just spent the weekend myself going over the last one that we received during our work study, taking it all apart, going through every page, looking at every single thing. And now I'm looking at, oh, that should say 6+1 under the communications thing. And then there was some questions again about the dispatch. There were some questions again about the jail. There's some questions still about some other places where we're talking about freezes. So I would really rather have a little bit more time just to make sure that this is still matching with what we looked at before. I know there's changes, obviously, but I too feel kind of hesitant to pass it tonight.
Okay. Other comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Browstow.
I concur with my fellow council members. I need more time to look at these numbers. If I think you just threw out a date or a week that we can possibly convene, I'm back in town next week and can make myself fully available anytime if we are about to call a special meeting.
Okay. Deputy Mayor.
And I really encourage my fellow council members to meet with Monica, meet with Jim, take the time to ask your questions there in City Hall. This is our job. This is what we got elected for, and we really need to make sure that we're on the same page. Ask questions. Monica, you've been very helpful. I've been in there a couple of times and via emails. You've been helpful answering the questions. So I do encourage my fellow councilors to make the time to meet with her and Jim.
And I would agree with that. I know Ms. Hofstadter and I met last Wednesday with you. Seems like a lifetime ago, but we went over an awful lot of stuff and you shared a lot of information with me. Very helpful, kind of helped rearrange my perspective a little bit. Council members, if we want to meet again, I am available on the 15th or on the 29th. The week of Christmas, the 22nd, I am not going to be at a meeting. And I don't think council should meet that week either if we can possibly avoid it. This time for family. But the 15th or the 29th would be options. If we can do it in 1 week, that's the 15th. And that would be a special meeting. The only item on the agenda would be the budget adoption.
That would work for me.
Does council feel like a week would be sufficient to study this and become comfortable with it and ask all the questions that we have?
You said the 15th or the 29th?
The 29th, correct.
The 29th would work best for me.
Okay. Councilor Frausto?
I can do either dates. I can do the 29th if that works for Councilor Vasquez.
Okay. Do other council members have a preference?
I'm okay with either.
Okay.
As well.
All right. Well, we had one person who has a preference of the 29th, and so, sir. Okay. Okay, so then it seems as if the 29th is the consensus. So we will plan on meeting here in these chambers at 6 p.m.
Sounds good to me.
Any issues there? Okay, 6 p.m. on the 29th, and it'll be a special meeting, and the one item on the agenda will be budget approval. And council members, it is our job in between now and then to study this thoroughly and try to avoid some of the mistakes of the past. And Ms. Hofstadter, you may get a lot of questions. So be prepared for that. We do not want to have any surprises or anything going forward into 2026. We've seen enough of that in the last couple of years, and we are quite ready to be finished with that. So, and again, that's not a reflection on, there's not a commentary on your work. That is a commentary on on what we've been through in the last couple of years as council members. And we certainly don't want to continue moving forward with that. So, and we don't want to hand it off to the next council in a bad place. So, all right, we will meet on the 29th. Councilor Hart.
I was just going to say, it would also, in as much as that it will be the 26 budget, those folks who are maybe haven't been sworn in yet as the new council members, please be present to also listen. And if you have any questions also either of the sitting council and or the city manager or Ms. Hofstadter, please don't hesitate because this affects every one of us. So
I would agree 100%. Thank you for bringing that up, Councilor. And do we have our attorney on the call?
it was a while ago.
Yeah, I'm here.
Ms. Norton, I just have a question for you. Do we need to have a motion in order to continue this item to a special meeting, or are we okay just to have just a general consensus?
Yeah, you're okay to have a general consensus as long as you provide the special meeting notice.
Okay.
How you would typically.
And that will be done. So thank you for that input. All right, so this item is continued to December 29 at 6 p.m. in these chambers. Thank you, council, for your input. Next item, HLA Engineering and Land Surveying Incorporated, Agreement for Professional Services Agreement Amendment. Approve a resolution authorizing the interim city manager to execute an amendment to the professional services agreement with HLA Engineering and Land Surveying Incorporated. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you. Yes, we are currently out advertising for engineering services for, I believe, for 2 years. This agreement is just an extension of the existing contract because we will not have an engineer in place. We are advertising. I believe that advertisement closes this week. Then we'll set interviews and then we will come forward with recommendations to who we would like to retain for the services. But until then, with the projects going on, talking with Ms. Ray from HLA, we thought it best to, we were originally going to extend it for 30 days. We were going to extend it for 60 days just to make sure we have time to get the new contract approved by the city council and get those folks on board. So with that, I'll stand for questions.
Council questions for the city manager. Deputy Mayor.
So is the plan to get bids then for engineering or?
So we don't get bids, we get proposals, right? And the state law does not allow us to compare rates, right? It's basically it's based upon the interview process. We select, we recommend, and then we bring forward the contract for services.
Okay.
Other questions?
And if I may.
Go ahead, sir.
So I was looking through the rates and whatnot, right? And engineering is pretty expensive overall, but what do we have a policy or do we have something in place where I guess the city manager, can go freely just, asking for blueprints. And I say it because past city managers, I've seen that, one with the Tina North Engineering. And then there was another one with the pets, with the pet shelter, I believe. And there were some changes to the community center over there. But I don't remember council ever giving any direction, for that city manager to just go and start, getting those blueprints or getting those, and they're expensive, right? I just asked Jim the other day to send over the stuff for the Tina North, and it was about $10,000. And which is great, but I think that city council, should sit down and talk about this, not just have a city manager go out and ask for these blueprints.
And currently we don't have a policy for that. My preference is we identify projects. Those projects should be brought and aired before the public, similar to our list of transportation projects. We've done that with the project, multiple projects at the treatment plant. I think one of them was presented on the legislature there, policy objectives. That was a $12 million package, if you will. It's not one project. It's several projects rolled into one for the treatment plant. And so that's my approach. I would assume that, or hope that council moving forward adopts that similar style approach. Staff should be bringing this information to council prior to making a decision. Because I've seen those, I've had been at my desk and I get an email popped up and it says, hey, here's this new parking lot at Southfield Park. I mean, this was 3 years ago. This was adopted and, and they want an amendment to keep working on it. I'm like, what, why? Right. And so I'm leery about continuing those amendments. I've just asked them to stop that type of work until we get more information.
And I very much appreciate your approach, Mr. Bridges. It's openness. You need to be able to communicate with council with stuff like that, and I really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you.
Further questions? Councilor Hart.
I do think though that that we have worked with HLA for professional services in the past for quite a number of years, and they've brought projects to us at the instigation of the council and staff, bringing it to us and going back and forth before going into the engineering and looking for it that way too. So I think that we have a really good working relationship with HLA the engineering and land surveying. They've been stood really well by us, I believe. And so I don't have any problems authorizing the amendment to continue with this particular project,
And I will say, every project that is identified to go forward, they do prepare a contract and that contract is brought forward. So,
Yes.
so individual projects are separate from this. This is the bulk, the main primary contract that they work under and that we then ask them to do other work for us through that. And those are identified as sub-projects.
Okay. Further questions or comments? I think I would echo my colleague in saying HLA has provided excellent service for us over the years. They're expensive, but they do great work. I think they earn their keep, but I don't have a problem with extending this for what was suggested. I think we can count on them through this period. So that's where I fall on it. If there's no other comments or questions from council, what is the desire of council on this item?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Deputy Mayor, second by Councilor Hart to approve a resolution authorizing the interim city manager to execute an amendment to the professional services agreement with HLA Engineering and Land Surveying Incorporated. Debate on this item? Hearing none. Councilor Vasquez.
Yes.
Councilor Frausto.
Yes.
Councilor Ripley.
Yes.
Councilor Zasadi.
Yes.
Councilor Hart.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor.
Yes.
I too vote yes. Motion passes. Item F, 2026 official newspaper. Approve a resolution authorizing the interim city manager to enter into an agreement with Sunnyside Sun as official newspaper for the year 2026. Mr. City Manager.
I'll actually have our city clerk present this.
Madam City Clerk.
The City of Sunnyside solicited sealed bids for the official newspaper for next year. We received one bid back from the Sunnyside Sun, and they meet all of the requirements. So we're recommending that we enter into an agreement with the Sunnyside Sun for 2026 as our paper of record.
Thank you. Council, questions for our clerk? I believe the Sunnyside Sun has done a good job.
Yes, and they are flexible with their deadlines. Their deadline is Monday at noon, and sometimes they squeeze in my notices on Tuesday. So I'm very thankful for them.
That is one of the many benefits of working with local. All right. Hearing no questions or comments, what's the desire of council on this item?
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Who, Vicky? Vicky moved to approve. And I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Councilor Ripley, second by Councilor Hart to approve the resolution authorizing interim city manager to enter into an agreement with the Sunnyside Sun as official newspaper for 2026. Debate on this item? Hearing none. Councilor Frausto.
Yes.
Counselor Vasquez,
Yes.
Counselor Hart,
Yes.
Counselor Sasadi,
Yes.
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor.
Yes.
I too vote yes, motion passes. Thank you, and thank you to the Sunnyside Sun. All right, item G, LTAC recommendations for fiscal year 2026. Approve a resolution authorizing the award of lodging tax funds for tourism promotion projects in 2026 and authorizing the interim city manager to execute agreements with each organization. And, sir, do you have that?
I do. I'll turn it over to Monica Hofstadter.
Oh, Ms. Hofstadter.
Sorry, it wasn't ready. I joined the LTAC committee and they made the recommendations for the following, sorry, let me reopen this.
I could help you out with.
Deputy Mayor, if you want
Throw it
to,
over
you're
to
more
you,
than well.
Mayor.
He's the one who made the decisions with the,
No, not me.
with the
LTAC.
other
This committee
members,
did.
with the other members.
LTAC committee. So yeah, the LTAC committee met, and these are the recommendations that they are bringing forward before council. There is a couple of them there that you'll see in zeros. One of them being the Miss Sunnyside committee, which we had a discussion a few meetings ago. And council would like to see something brought forward, an updated, I guess, version of what they propose. And that's something that the LTAC committee is willing to take on. So that being said, Cinco de Mayo Festival being recommended for 30,000. Sunnyside Ale Fest, 15,000. Well, I skipped the sort for the cost. Recommendation is 0. Washington Nitro Nationals, 0. Sunshine Days and Parade, 20,000. Miss Sunnyside Committee, 0. Show and Shine, 1,500. Sunnyside Lighted Farm Implement Parade, 5,000. American Hill Climb, 5,000. Veterans Plaza, 10,000. Is there any questions?
Okay.
Counselor Hart.
Yeah, I'm just a little confused here. You have the Washington Nitro Nationals, 0, and then down here below, there's the American Hill Climb, Washington Nitro Nationals. Are they
So,
two separate things? Can you
so yes,
explain that?
this year, next year, they decided to do 2 events. So the original one is the Washington Nitro Nationals. That's the one they hold every year. They're doing a second event. It's the American Hill Climb. And one of the reasons that the committee decided to fund these is because the committee asked, the public to come up with a new event. And given that, this would be a new event, the committee decided to fund them the 5,000. They were requesting, I believe, 25 or so. That's the reason, yeah.
Other comments,
Mr.
questions?
Mayor,
Counselor Frausto.
and where would this be held, Deputy Mayor?
The American
The
Hill Climb?
Nationals? Yeah.
It's at the same location, just north of town.
Is that Dry Creek?
Yeah.
It says Day Creek.
Okay, I have a follow-up question.
Go ahead, Counselor.
You just mentioned that Miss Sunnyside is zeroed out and council wanted some well, I think we had talked about maybe amending this or bringing it back to LTAC. So y'all had a conversation around this with the hopes that they could get money. What was that discussion and what's the direction that y'all are gonna take?
But
Go ahead, Counselor.
if I understood it, we were gonna reopen it for them to submit a new application. I don't believe they've done that yet. They provided some feedback when they made comment as to what they want to do. The application that they did submit, there were some issues there that the committee felt that they couldn't approve. So if that's still council's wishes, for them to reapply.
Well, Deputy Mayor, I got the sense that Counselor would like to do something for the Miss Sunnyside committee. This is something that could possibly be brought back to council. if it's an issue of getting their paperwork filled out correctly, it is something potentially that they could have an opportunity to fill that out and meet just concerning that. But I kind of got the sense that council would like to support the Miss Sunnyside organization with something. That was the feeling I got in our conversations, and I was kind of looking forward to seeing that there was something that was going to be awarded to them. I know I too am a little disappointed to see that they were zeroed out. So, Councilor Vasquez?
No, and I second with our mayor because at the end of the day, these girls do travel everywhere on that float. And I really like their suggestions, the way that they were willing to incorporate our main events, which they already do. They highlight Cinco de Mayo, they highlight the Sunshine Days Parade. And that alone is free advertising on their behalf. And their parents are working alongside the youth. And, it's always sacrifice and it's so much time that they have to already pour in. So I think that the little that we can do, even if we can give them something, would go a long ways because at the end of the day, they're also representing our city.
And if I could
go ahead,
a
sir.
little bit. So the reason on their application, it was a question as to what they were going to do with the LTAC funds, and the answer was they were going to provide scholarships with LTAC funds. So you can't use LTAC funds to provide scholarships. You have to use it, to get people into Sunnyside for, advertisement. So that's the main reason that the LTAC committee felt like, okay, well, and unfortunately they weren't there at the time. So we could clarify, what they meant on the application. So that is the reason that the LTAC committee, said no, because there is laws that we need to follow.
Yeah, which thank you for clarifying that, just because I do know that they always lack funds, especially since they've had really hard trouble in the past with their float, even keeping it alive and moving, right? So I think even like with that, just even giving them anything in order for them to save or to pour into a new float or upgrades is very necessary.
Yeah, and the float is something that can be used to promote Sunnyside and advertise, whether it's businesses or events like the Lighted Implement Parade or something like that, that can be advertised on the float. So conceivably, those funds can be used towards a float, but I think you're right. They can't be used to provide scholarships or anything of that nature. So they have to be a little more specific on how they word their application and get that correct. So yeah, that was good that you pointed that out. But I would love to see them have another opportunity to present and perhaps get awarded some funds at a later date. So, Ms. Vasquez.
And on behalf of the city, could we do something where we do get in contact with them and kind of just even offer them help and some suggestions on how they are and willing to receive funds from Altec?
I think they're willing to resubmit the application. And that's something that, I'm willing to take up an LTAC. I know we're going to be changing up committees here in January. So, it's ultimately up to council as a full.
Okay. So as long as we covered that and got that clarified, because again, those young ladies put a lot of time and effort in, and to take all their funding away from the city's source, that'd be hard on them. So, okay, Councilor Hart.
I do have a question though. The American Hill Climb is part and parcel of the Nationals, Nitro Nationals. I don't see that really as a new program. And I don't see the other thing, and I'm surprised, it doesn't really bring that many heads and beds into Sunnyside. And as much as that they do all their camp out there on the hill at Dry Creek. They're self-contained pretty much out there. They're not much in the way of coming into Sunnyside for gas or for lunches or things like that. And we've surveyed this in the past, unless they've got some new surveys that I'm not particularly aware of. But it seems to me that the Washington Nitro Nationals and the American Hill Climb as part of the Washington Nationals are pretty much the same thing. They're the same event.
So
unless there's some you can explain.
Yeah, no, yeah. So it's a different date. The second one, it would be in the fall, if I remember correctly. And Mr. Denley, the regional supervisor or manager for Best Westerns, he was able to associate that indeed the local hotels,
so that there is a change there.
they were bringing beds and heads. And not only,
different dates.
and not only were they doing that, but they do, whoever's going out there, they're stopping by and fueling up, stopping by in restaurants, and not just the hotels and motels are benefiting from that event, but I think the town as a whole.
I think in addition to that, Counselor, too, just to continue to answer the question, a lot of the promotion, it is live streamed, it is shown on channels throughout the course of the year, and I don't know, so often, I mean, several times an hour is said here in Sunnyside, Washington. So the city of Sunnyside is being promoted through that. And so that also will encourage people to want to come in person. And I know for several years, Mr. Denley has mentioned that the hotel has been rather filled with people who come for that event. So
Yeah, that's.
he would be the one who'd know.
He would be the one who would know. Absolutely right. But just again, you said that, and that's why I was just asking, it looked like it was the same thing, but you said it's a different date?
yeah.
Okay. So usually haven't they held the Nitro one there on, the
May.
first one in May, around
Yeah,
Mother's Day
around
or
May,
something?
yeah.
Mother's Day weekend.
And this one you said would probably be in the fall?
Mhm.
Okay. But I see you canceled out one and funded the other one.
Yeah, just
I don't
because
have a
we
problem
did,
with that.
well, we did ask for new events and we didn't want to, okay, you're asking for a new event and you're not funding this kind of deal. I mean, we always encourage new events to apply, and, we felt that we needed to support them in a little bit.
Right. And something like that's not a signature event too. We do help, I think the LTAC funds help them get started and get rolling. And then after a certain period of time, it's up to them to take advantage of their own fame and fortune and fund themselves. But
Right.
okay, Councilor Vasquez.
Yeah, so I have a question in regards to the Sunnyside Ale Fest. So I don't really know all the behind the scenes that's required for that. But to my understanding, they were able to be like sort of grandfathered into receiving or being now a signature event. So they will be getting a break with security. So then what will the 15,000 be covering for that 1 day event?
So that, I'm not sure if you were in here, but that hasn't been fully decided. The committee did not want to just grant them the signature event, even though they felt that it's a great event. It's something that they see growing with the city. They just want some sort of guidance because they don't want to make it to where there's no guidance, there's no guidelines to who's considered a signature event. And then if we don't have that, then everybody else, oh, can I be a signature event? Can I be? So they wanted council to see if they can provide some sort of guidance or something, right, to have on paper. And
I could actually agree with that
Yeah.
because the way it went about, I was like, whoa, this is opening a door for everyone to want
Yeah.
a signature event.
Yep, yep, exactly.
That's good to know. And what else were you going to
Well, I am working on a guideline, and I wasn't able to bring it before LTAC because they just didn't have time to meet in December. So I think I'm just gonna bring it forward to council as a whole in January sometime, and then kick it back to LTAC and see what they think.
Okay. And just for reference, more or less, what is the $15,000 covering on their request?
The majority with LTAC funds, you can use it for advertisement. You can't use it for like any sponsoring or any like the Miss Sunnyside, but for the most part, they were using it for advertisement. They want to get out there to other communities, to other cities, so we could get more people into Sunnyside.
Okay.
Question.
Councilor Ripley was first, and then you, Councilor Fausto.
Okay, the last city manager, he asked for 100,000 for advertisement, publicity.
Mhm.
And how much is left and how is that working right now for us?
How much is left? Monica did send me, I think you sent me some numbers, right? Of what was left from that contract, the $100,000 contract that council appropriated to the city manager for advertisement and
I did send you a copy of that.
while she looks for that, if Jackie, you could help us out, how that's been working out.
Yes, I have enjoyed my time working with Yes Wasco, Pixelsoft. Stephanie and Gary have been great to work with. Them knowing how busy I am, they've taken over the tourism website, the Visit Sunnyside. They create graphics and just take the lead. There's not a lot that I have to, they kind of know the vision and they just take off with it. They give me updates all the time. We have a website that they've established where we communicate. So everything is recorded. And they are currently working on the website for tourism, which is specific, not just the Facebook, but we provided the branding of it. We approved it. So in the next month, we should have it. So their contract was until the end of the year, but they're willing to go in a few, until maybe March to get everything finalized for that. So, but just for the website, we will need to get direction on what we want to do for marketing next year for just the tourism. It is important to keep the branding the same. So I will be talking to Jim and maybe LTAC to see what we want to do. But I have no issues with them. They're amazing to work with. And they do boost a lot of the posts on Facebook so that people outside of the city limits, 50 miles out, can see our events and our business highlights and all of that. So, yeah.
Okay. Councilor Frausto.
Yeah, so Deputy Mayor was mentioning that majority of the money for the L Fest is going to marketing. I mean, they're only $5,000 shy of Sunshine Days Parade, and that was a whole weekend long with many vendors and activities for families and kids. Could we reconsider to drop down the amount for the Sunnyside L Fest since it is a smaller event and maybe carve in some money for the Miss Sunnyside court? It seems to me the $15,000 is way too much for marketing if that's the breakdown explanation you're providing, Deputy Mayor.
So I guess I should have brought the applications. Like, Chief, do you happen to, I know that you're part of.
Just because I'm part of Rotary, I know that that's an event that has to be completely fenced off, so I know that's a significant cost. They do have some security costs. I know they do as much marketing as they can. I don't have the application in front of me either. But yeah.
So it 100% it wasn't going to go towards marketing. They did have some other expenses that they listed on their application. But to go back to the Miss Sunnyside, if you can see that our budget, our awarding budget is what is it? 86,500. It's way below what LTAC funds every year for the past 5 years or so. So we're way below our budget. So there's plenty of money in the LTAC funds right now if council wanted to do something for Miss Sunnyside. But I really do believe in the L Fest. They do a lot for the community. I could see this project getting a lot bigger, maybe something like Wenatchee, but we really need to, I feel that we need to support them right now that, they want to get bigger.
Just so everybody knows, the Ale Fest is what's funded all the skate parks in town. It's working on the splash pad. It put in the what was there? They paid for the pool, gave money to the pool. That's how they fund all that stuff. Morning Rotary does is the Ale Fest. So.
And I can say one more thing that the L Fest also, when we looked at the revenues for the hotel motel tax, the L Fest was actually bringing in the most revenue during that.
Councilor Hart?
But it was just one of the, and maybe they didn't submit anything, but since this year, the lighted farm implement parade is now it says Carter Killian on there. I just was wondering, is there something, did you receive any kind of an application for the Christmas market?
No.
Because I don't know, was that the Noon Rotary doing the Christmas market?
Yes, so Noon Rotary did do the Christmas market this year, which just happened. And then Mr. Killian was in charge of the implement parade. But we did not receive any applications for the market for next year.
I was just curious about that. But the other question regarding the farm implement parade has Mr. Killian, has he developed some sort of a 510C nonprofit or something?
Yes, he has. That is how he operated for this year.
So that's documented in their application.
And they did request more than the 5,000, but because the LTAC committee met before their first event, which is this past weekend, they felt that if they kept it at the same level, just to see how successful they were going to be, we could go from there for either.
Okay, thank you. I'm just curious why there was that.
All right.
And it looks like Monica sent over the financials for the advertisement, right? I think Counselor, who was the one that asked, Ripley? About the marketing,
Oh,
the 100,000, what was left? She sent the email on.
okay.
Yeah, Counselor Vasquez.
Yeah, and not a question, but just like moving forward, right? The Sunnyside Lighted Farm Implement Parade was really good this year. We had a lot of entries. It's something that I can definitely see us moving forward, with growing it and trying to bring in some more neighboring communities and kind of like bring in some more involvement so it could be even bigger because it's one of Sunnyside's greatest staples and it's one of the big events that we're known for. So I would like to see this parade just expand and grow some more.
I agree. I completely agree. They did a good job this year. There was, I believe, over 100 entries. So it's really getting big and it's getting recognized. Well, it's been recognized, nationwide. So I agree with you.
All right. Thank you for all the questions and discussion, everyone. Thank you to the LTAC committee for the work that you've done on all of this, and Deputy Mayor for chairing that. It's been a huge project. LTAC every year is a huge project. I don't think many people in the community realize the amount of work that committee goes through every year, and reading every one of these applications and approving and coming up with an amount. And it's all dependent on what is received through our lodging tax. And as was mentioned this year, it's down. A lot of communities are noticing that revenues are down in a lot of areas. It's not uncommon for us in the past to have had, over $150,000 come in, and now we're down below 100,000 for this year. So that does impact what we are able to help finance. So kudos to you for the hard work that you've done.
And revenues, I think we're projected to receive, what, 140,000?
120.
120.
Okay, so we are
So
projecting higher than that.
Yeah, we are projecting 120. I just, a tight ship at outside.
Let's work with what we have in hand at the moment. Yeah, no, that's not a bad idea. So, okay, so having heard all of that, what is the desire of council on this item?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All right, we got a motion by Councilor Ripley, second by the Deputy Mayor to approve a resolution authorizing the award of lodging tax funds for tourism promotion projects in 2026 and authorizing the interim city manager to execute agreements with each organization. Is there debate on this item? Hearing none. Councilor Ripley,
Yes.
Councilor Sassadi,
Yes.
Councilor Frausto,
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez,
Yes.
Councilor Hart,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor.
Yes.
I too vote yes, motion passes. All right, item H, this is part of the amended agenda, business license ordinance change. And I'm going to let the interim city manager explain just a little bit the background of this. And then I'll read the ordinance into the record.
Thank you. So essentially what this does is the state, excuse me, the state has decided that they have what's called minimum gross receipt thresholds. So what that means is, and what this ordinance does, is it amends our city ordinance that for businesses that are located within the city limits of Sunnyside, if they make more than $2,000 in sales, gross sales, they are required to then have a city business license. If they do not live in the city of Sunnyside or not addressed in the city of Sunnyside for their business, they can make up to $4,000 in gross sales. So that's what this does. And at that point in time, then they have to get a city business license. So any other questions?
Questions or comments for the manager? Deputy Mayor.
You said this is a new state law?
Yes.
Okay.
This brings us into compliance.
Correct. Oh, and it's up on the screen, so I don't have to read it into the record either. Thank you for that, Jackie.
Yes, in case.
Okay, other questions or comments on this item? As mentioned previously, this is something that needs to be done before the end of this calendar year. Normally, we don't like to work in a rush like this, but we find ourselves in that situation at this time.
And it was emailed to you all.
Yep, we should all have a copy in our email. All right, hearing no questions or comments, what is the desire of council on this item?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
And who was the second? Who was the motion?
She motioned.
Okay, and Ms. Ripley was the second? Okay.
Ripley.
All right, and we'll go, let's see here. Sorry, I got to draw the chart out if we're going to do this, right? Give me just a second here. All right, Counselor Society,
Yes.
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Counselor Fausto,
Yes.
Counselor Vasquez,
Yes.
Counselor Hart,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor.
Yes.
I do vote yes. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, items from council members, mayor's appointments, rewards, and commissions. The Rules Committee has not met, so we have nothing to bring forward at this time. Council request status report.
I'm gonna have to go home and sort all this out.
All right, Yellowstone Trail.
Still working on it.
Cool.
We've, like I stated before, membership now, just working on getting the sign out there and then, getting cleaned up.
Okay, I think that's a big key component to that is cleaning up the property, making it look presentable and. Okay, the next item is our farm implement machinery.
And I've reached back out one more time again to WCI for some guidance on that, on our liability exposure for that equipment. I haven't heard back.
Okay. Boys and Girls Club?
I have not, I need to, I think Miss Hancock is here. Need to catch up with her and get her contacts so that we can start moving that forward.
All right, Community Center.
I've been in contact, with, many soccer, personnel. Finally got one to come back to me with his, nonprofit. He's supposed to be bringing me his, insurance. That way we can get some dates and then obviously, work with Mr. Bridges on hopefully getting a contract so, we can help them out as much as we can.
Okay.
Heater.
Oh, the heater, yes. And so, also the heater is broken at the facility. I do have a Apollo who's willing to fix it. It is gonna cost us with time and material $25,0489. That way we can get heat into the gym. I know this last weekend we had the brunch. We did our best to warm it up for everybody there. I was in contact with Miss Frank the whole time, and she said it ran great. But we do need to get that fixed.
Okay, to clarify, is it 2,500 or 25,000?
2,500.
Okay,
2,500 0489.
okay. Just wanted to make
And
sure that we're all.
you went ahead and signed that today?
Yes, I signed that today. I've already coded it. So when we do get the ticket, I'll be able to just send it right into AP.
Get her paid.
Okay,
A question on
Deputy
that. So when stuff like that happens, minimum, stuff like that, it doesn't have to go to bid, correct?
No, not,
Because of the amount?
yes.
Okay, so is there a list that we work off of small jobs as to
Yes,
who
we do
can?
have a small roster. The reason we went with the Polo is because they put in the system.
Okay,
So they were very knowledgeable of the system and how it works and all that. So
okay,
that's the reason I called Apollo in the first place.
gotcha. No, it makes sense. I mean, ultimately you want to help the local businesses in.
No, of course,
I know
yes.
there's a handful of them, but that makes sense to go.
Yes.
Okay. Safari Building downtown, what's the status there? Have we made any progress?
So we obviously Mr. Taylor did stop by, take a look at it. There is nothing that's anything that we can and red flag it. But we are in talks, trying to find out the owner so we can get inside and see what the inside looks like. So, obviously, Mr. Taylor's, out for the next, or for the next 2 weeks. So I'll be working on that to get that taken care of.
Okay, yeah, so my understanding is just a shell.
Yes, that's all that's there, but we want to make sure that there's nothing rotten inside, the structure's fine from the
Yeah,
inside out.
and I've heard, now this is unverified, there's several liens against that building as well, so
And that, I have.
maybe what's stopping things.
Correct, that is something, hopefully we can get that information from the owner himself,
Okay,
so.
very good. And then the Allen Road 16th Street intersection.
That was.
That just needs to be put on the tip.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll put that on,
Yeah.
coming up. We'll put it on the tip coming up.
yes. And then the mobile vendor,
See that?
yes, that's on there. So, Mr. Taylor did finish up the ordinance. I did send it to, Mrs. Norton for review. As soon as I get it back, we'll be, putting it in for council's approval.
Perfect.
Goody.
All right, any other items that need to be brought up on the request status report? Please make sure you talk to our manager or Mr. Mejia and get that on there, or we can bring it up at a council meeting. All right, other reports, announcements, and or questions by council. And Councilor Frausto, I'm going to forget you if I don't start with you, so I'm going to let you start.
Well, that's an easy one. Nothing to report at this time, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Councilor Society.
No, not really, other than I attended my first training on Saturday. I spent my Saturday trying to soak in a bunch of information. I linked up with and met with a lot of new council members from different cities. And I'm just excited to, learn more and attend a lot more trainings.
Kind of like drinking from a fire hose, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
All right, well, thank you for getting started on that early. That's, there's a lot of information in those.
There is.
Councilor Vasquez.
Yeah, so I was able to attend our finance subcommittee with Monica, so thank you for that. I also had the honor to serve dessert, which was actually pies for the senior citizens at their Thanksgiving meal. So that was fun. I also went to the mall, and Sir Optimus was providing free crafts at our local mall. So I just want to shout out Sir Optimus for doing that year after year. I also wanted to say good job to our Sunnyside local farmers who, through our implement parade, they did a really good job, as I already mentioned earlier. And I also wanted to thank Noon Rotary for pulling through and actually making our downtown market possible this year. I got some tamales and they're really good. So just supporting local entrepreneurs and business owners is really important to do. So that was really, really fun to attend. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Councilor Ripley.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, since Corey's not here, do I ask you, Hector,
By all means.
about the ARPA loans? Where have we found where that money is being held when it's being paid back?
Yes, we did find out that, right now I have, given the information to Ms. Hofstadter, so we can start, I'm guessing, putting that to an account, or if she can better answer that, I might.
Actually, I spoke with Debbie today that works over on the other side of the building. Is this for the revolving funds?
Yes.
So, they, in the planning department, they apparently have always kind of overseen those funds, and she agreed that they needed to be moved into the finance department. So we're going to put all that information into our accounting system so that it can be better kept track of through the accounting system and not in.
But not lumped into the general fund?
No, it'll have its own fund.
Okay, that's good. Okay, and another thing is Aya being charged for the use of the community center? Who do I at?
That'd be me.
Aya?
Oh,
That would be you?
no, they are not in charge of the community.
No,
Being
are they
charged.
being
Oh,
charged?
are they being charged? Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Oh.
They are being charged when they use it, so, that.
I've never seen it on the agendas or, I've never seen where they
Okay.
have.
I mean,
paid.
I'd be more than happy to get those, I sent it to Mr. Bridges, but I'd be happy to make copies and send them to you with everything that they provided me with.
Okay,
So yes, I can, I'll send it to council so everybody has a copy.
okay. Another question for you, Hector.
Yes, ma'am.
On Fourth Street, I think it was the SVID. They had to redo something with the road and the sidewalk got taken out there. There's a piece of the sidewalk that has not been replaced. Is that on the city?
No, that should be on SVID. I will, stop by and talk to them about, see when they're gonna replace that.
Okay. One more thing.
Hold on for 1 second.
Oh.
So get with me on that. Typically SVID in their charter, they have the right to cut up city streets, sidewalks, right of ways as necessary to fix their lines, but the cost is always the responsibility. The cost to repair or replace is always the responsibility of the city.
Mm.
So that's why we need to find that out, Hector.
Okay.
That's the way they've always operated. That's what their 1902 charter says. There's no fighting them on it. They can cut up anything they want to in the city, and it's really up to the city to pay. So.
Somebody was asking when that
Yep.
was gonna be replaced.
And if we hear the need to replace it, obviously we'll get a day that's warm and then we'll get the concrete out there to get it replaced.
Okay.
Working on that all summer.
And well, I have another one. This is my last time. Give me
Not rushing you, just. make sure you have-
There's a soccer guy out there. He teaches soccer. Hector Larios, have you heard of him? He teaches young kids soccer.
Huh?
And he's having a hard time finding a place. They're going out and playing on the tennis courts in this cold weather. And I don't know if there's anything, we need help in trying to help him because he's mentoring these kids and stuff. He's doing a fantastic job in what he's doing. And if we could find him, some building, if somebody could, I don't know.
And I believe that name does sound familiar. He was one of the persons I've talked to. I gave him guidance on what insurance he's needed. Obviously,
Yeah.
make sure he is nonprofit. I mean, because that's one of the things we want to make sure, because there is a price difference from being profit to nonprofit. And I told him the cheaper way to obviously the lower cost way. But I've met with him, and at no time has he came back. But if I can get his number, I'd be more than happy to reach out to him and see what we can do.
Okay. I'll let him know.
Okay.
Counselor Vasquez, you're about bursting out of your chair.
Yes. So I have 3 things that I totally forgot. I'm feeling a little under the weather, so I'm not like completely aligned with everything I wanted to mention. But so first off, I have a question that Vicki Ripley just kind of asked in regards to the community center. So I know about a year ago, some organizations wanted to use like the television, tables, table covers, and et cetera, right? But that there was no fee schedule in order to be able to give that out to organizations or parties. So I just wanted to follow up and see if there is a fee schedule now available, or if that still is needs to be done.
So TVs and anything that's electrical that we own, we do not rent those out. Just because for the purpose, if it gets ruined, we do not have anything that states in our ordinance or any of the rules that states you have to put so much down or pay for anything. So that's the one reason. And talking to IT, it was just the right decision to allow people to use it. With the tablecloths, there is an pricing in there that we have on our sheet when they come over and register for the reservation of the community center. So there is prices on there for those.
Okay. And what about like the platform?
The platform and tables, those prices are also on
It's
there.
all added on now.
Yes.
Just to be clear, you're talking it stays within the community center.
Correct.
They're not renting it and taking.
No,
Yes,
stays
okay.
within like an additional fee.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's all on the application.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I know for a while there we didn't have any of that, those prices set in stone. So just the fact that we do now is good to know.
Yes.
Okay, and then the other one was I wanted to just extend and say thank you to Vicki Ripley for all her years of service. Even when we haven't seen eye to eye, thank you for always showing respect, and I just really appreciate you and the time that you've served. So I just want to say thank you, and I wish you the best, nothing but the best. And the same to you, Dean. I talk to many people and they all say Dean's been on there for so many years. He served so much. And I just want to thank you because you have been a big part of this community. You have been a big part of, everyone knows you're the mayor. A lot of people do. And you're tall and no one's going to forget that. And there's so many people who just say, yeah, I know the mayor's a tall one. And I just mentioned that because people actually know you by your height. And I just wanted to thank you as well for all your years of service because it's been many. And I just really hope that you enjoy your time off now and your vacations with your wife and your family. And I wish you nothing but the best. And I just want to thank you for everything because it's definitely time consuming. It definitely takes a toll. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you for that.
Yes. And I'm done now.
Back to me.
No.
Oh, come on.
You had quite a long
I got-
time there,
well,
Ms.
I
Ripley.
gotta say my farewell speech. Farewell, Dean.
All right. Deputy Mayor.
Did you still need time or no?
Well, I have a whole list
You
here.
have a list of things. Do you need a little more time?
Yes.
Okay, we'll give you some more time if there's no objection. I don't hear any objections. You go right ahead.
Okay.
Objection. This is her last time, right?
Yes, yes. Okay, I just wanted to tell the citizens that they need to open their eyes and stay off of Facebook and don't listen to all the rumors on Facebook. Come to council themselves and see what is going on at council. There's so much that goes on at council that the citizens don't know about. And I gotta keep my secret, so I can't say too much. Okay, a group of friends, when I came on here 4 years ago, a group of people took me and they taught me so much. And Karen and George and Frosto, they helped me so much in learning how to do council. That's a lot of council is people helping each other. And I need to thank Sharon Dolan and Tom Dolan and Teresa Hancock and Monica Niemeyer and Britton Moore. They were instrumental in a lot of the things that were brought up. And I appreciate them so much. And when a counselor asks the city manager for all the contracts and it turns into a witch hunt against said counselor, those are red flags. We need to keep an eye out for red flags on council. I could mention a lot more red flags, but I think that's it for now.
All right. Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, just want to give a shout out to Noon Rotary for their downtown, event that they held this year. It's unfortunate that they're not gonna, well, they didn't apply to do it next year, but hopefully they can still do it. Altech, successful parade, Mr. Killian and all his crew. They did a wonderful job. A brunch with Santa with Miss Sunnyside. I was there Sunday, and again, it was a success for the Miss Sunnyside committee. Another thing is Councilor Ripley, thank you, for all your service. Councilor Borsma or Mayor Borsma, thank you for everything you've done for Sunnyside, and hopefully we still see you in the audience, or maybe part of a committee somewhere down the line. And Ripley, I'll miss your calls, all your questions that you had, and hopefully. There you go. You can still call me for any questions that you might have as a community member, and hopeful to see you in the audience as well.
Oh, yeah, I'm not leaving.
Another thing is I had a question on on those new apartments out there. Do we have a plan for traffic for that road that's coming out of there between the apartments and the school? Right now it's pretty much a driveway, gravel driveway. Is there gonna be some sort of traffic revision or what was the plan for that?
Yeah, you're talking about the ones on Lincoln?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I assume they're just gonna have driveways out onto the street. So, they'll be subject to the traffic like everybody else is. If they gotta get out, there's gonna be a stop sign before they can get out on the street, and they'll be subject to that and the flow of traffic, so.
I could see it definitely becoming a nightmare, but we'll see.
There's a lot of apartments in there.
Yeah. And that's all I got.
All right, Counselor Hart.
Yes, well, I attended the brunch with Santa on Sunday and got to help decorate cookies with hundreds and hundreds of small fries and some big fries. There were lots of people out there who were decorating cookies and taking advantage of the many activities that the Miss Sunnyside Court and their chaperones and committee were doing. The breakfast was fantastic. When I finally got to have some after I licked off the frosting from helping all the kids. But it was a lot of fun and I really appreciated the huge amount of work that went into putting that event on. There was really, as the deputy mayor said, it was really well attended. So that was a load of fun. We did the pies. Was that the Lions pie thing that you were talking about? The Sunnyside Lions did a special Thanksgiving dinner just for the seniors this year. And we all had to bring something. And Karen was in charge of pies. I was in charge of gravy. And her and I were the last two people to get our things done. But they were done and they were on time when they were ready to go, when they were supposed to be ready to go. So we did good.
Did.
Yes. And everybody really enjoyed that. See, I did have a couple of questions on that fee schedule and maybe I just missed it, but somebody asked me about the chicken permit when you want to have chickens in your backyard. There's supposed to be a fee to renew your chicken permit, like your dog permit.
Yes, ma'am.
And there's a fee for that, and it doesn't show up anywhere in the fee schedule, I don't believe, or wasn't able to find it.
I can look that up and get that information right.
Yeah, we just make sure that it's where it needs to be in the scheme of things.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and you can do that too, so I can let the person who asked me know that it's in there. I had another question come up following the parade. There's a long wait time from when the parade starts to when it gets to in front of you. And there was some people wondering where the bathrooms were along the route. Because there were, some of the guys who had their RVs, they're probably self-contained, but a lot of people out there in the cold waiting for the parade and little kids getting kind of antsy. I don't know, that's something we can talk to the LTAC folks who got money for the parade and stuff, if they can't build that into their next year's budget, because there was a real need. As several people stopped me and talked to me about that, and I go, I'll bring it up.
Maybe
And
so donate porta potties, huh?
Well, who knows how it happens, but you never know. That would be good. As long as there's potties out there, I think that would be the good thing. And also, I want to appreciate the fact that the revolving loans for the economic community development program are being tracked. I appreciate that. I know that folks who received those loans have been paying in, and there was a report on that not too long ago. The ones who were paying in and making their interest, those were 2% and 3% interest, and most of those were given to businesses that were originally, they were for businesses that had at least 5 years of business experience or more. And that was the way, and I understand we may be changing that going into the future, but that's another thing. Just wanted to mention that there was some tracking. It may not just have been exactly the right tracking, but we're glad that we're back on track on that. So that's a good thing. And I'm going to miss Dean at the mayor's helm here. You've done a really great job. It was great to work with you as a council member and also deputy mayor and and then again as mayor, and you've done an outstanding, if you could say anything of anybody who's been in your position, you've been a real gentleman at the job, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for managing to control the council during this past time period with a minimum of diplomacy that's sometimes missing in today's politics. So thank you for that.
Thank you. All right. Well, we've all been busy. We've all done a lot of things. And so, yeah, I too have been busy. So yesterday I was able to attend the Pearl Harbor Day commemoration done by the American Legion and VFW over at Sunnyside Assisted Living. And that was reasonably well attended, and it was nice to be inside. So that went well. I got to also attend the Lighted Implement Parade, and I would echo my colleagues in saying that was very well done. They took over, it was their first year doing it, and did just a bang-up job of it. It was excellent. So that was great. I got to participate in the Kids' Day Parade and the tree lighting ceremony. I got to drive the Gator with Santa in it, and had Aliciana there. She was telling me when I was going too fast or too slow, but other than that, it was yeah, that was fun. That parade is a fun one to be part of, and so I enjoyed that. And I just want to say too that the Miss Sunnyside Court, once again, as it has for so many years, it has impressed me with the way these young ladies behave, the way these young ladies take leadership. They were working with, I think it was the Little Miss Granger Court, who was passing out the awards and doing all that kind of stuff. And they were out there working as role models. They were guiding them in the right direction, mentoring them. They did a fantastic job. I think these young ladies have demonstrated, like they do every year, why they were the ones who got selected. They're just awesome people. So I was real proud of them. And then finally, I too wish to thank the city of Sunnyside for almost just shy of 13 years of serving on city council. I was appointed in March of 2013. Hardly expected to actually get the appointment, and then I did, and won the election 3 times after that. And I was proud to be able to serve the city of Sunnyside. I was grateful for the confidence of the community. I did not get on with the intention of becoming mayor. That one was time consuming. That took a lot of time and effort, but yet, yeah, I did the best I could. And I feel like for the most part, yeah, keeping order is a big part of the meetings. And so I'm grateful for council for the confidence in me in that role as well. And I will miss it. It's going to be a little bit weird. I'm looking forward to being able to take long weekends and spend time with my grandkids and not rush back for a Monday night meeting and not spend my weekends reading through piles of paper. But that also was important to me to know that. I've gained a great deal of appreciation for our city employees. It's easy to pick on our public works guys because, how many guys does it take to lean on a shovel? But I find out that those guys take it pretty seriously, their job of keeping those streets up. They are constrained by rules and regulations, so there are certain requirements of them. But just like every other city employee, whether it's first responder or whatever, they're out there doing their job the best that they can. City hall staff, department heads, you guys take your jobs real seriously. You guys have really kept this city functioning. Council members, we talk a lot. You guys actually get out and do the job. And I very much appreciate that and grateful. I've had to work with our city clerk quite closely over the years and appreciate the work that you do. I don't know how you do it without becoming overwhelmed. But then I see when you send out some of your emails and I realize that you never stop working. So I think we should mandate a cutoff time for your day.
That's right.
And just make sure your computer turns off. And Jeffette, maybe you could do that. Make sure her computer turns off at a certain time of day, won't turn back. I don't know. I don't know what to do. But anyway, thank you so much for all of that opportunity. And I honestly feel Sunnyside's in good hands moving forward. There is one thing that we do have to be aware of, and that is the fact that because my term ends on December 31 at midnight, the city of Sunnyside will have a vacancy in our mayor position. And what we have here, I had Jackie do a little bit of work on this. It says there is not an automatic succession of the deputy mayor into the role of mayor when that vacancy occurs. However, the deputy mayor is authorized to preside over city council meetings, perform the mayor presiding and ceremonial duties, and sign routine documents as necessary. So the authority continues until the council appoints a new mayor at the first meeting, which in this year will be January 12, 2025, or 2026. And so they have a recommended process for the first meeting. First of all, you have the announcement of the mayoral vacancy on January 1. We will acknowledge the vacancy. The deputy mayor presides. The deputy mayor will chair the meeting until the vacancy is filled on January 12, 2025. Council may open nominations for the appointment of mayor, vote on the nominees. A majority vote is required. Upon appointment, the individual may take the oath immediately and assume mayoral duties. So once a mayor is selected, whether it's the deputy mayor who continues in that position or somebody else is chosen, then the gavel goes to the newly elected mayor and the meeting continues. And the deputy mayor will be selected at that point, and then you move forward. Okay? So on January 1, at the stroke of midnight, the deputy mayor will assume the role of mayor for a couple of weeks. Yep. All right. Upcoming council meetings, Madam City Clerk.
Okay, so it looks like we will be having a meeting on December 29th at 6 p.m. The next regular meeting would be January 12th. We will not have a workshop. And I am working on scheduling and organizing the city council swearing in ceremony of the newly elected members. And I'm hoping to do that on the 12th at 4 p.m. at the community center, just like we did in 2024. Just have a nice little ceremony. I just need to work with the Hector and his crews to see if that's available. And then after that, it is January 26th. So we don't have any items other than establishing the subcommittees. So we look forward to that.
Okay, council members, if you have items that need to be added to the agenda, please make sure that is done at least 1 week prior to the meeting so that that can get entered in and that can be published appropriately. All right. City staff reports, Mr. City Manager.
Well, as far as myself, we brought it up earlier today about the engineering ad and have been fielding phone calls from those folks, some firms. Been working, we got bargaining this week, been doing some of that work last week, getting prepared for that. Obviously, the Capital Path folks, been meeting with those folks on a regular basis to try to keep that moving forward. And I have some documents, the amendment documents that we spoke about, or they spoke about tonight, that we have to review and get those ready for them to present to Department of Commerce for amendment. So I will, Jackie, you want to go or you want Chief Lehman to go?
I'll go at the end.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody that's about to be done on council. I appreciate it working with all of you. So the parade went excellent on Saturday night. We had no issues. There weren't any fights or anything like that, which we have had a couple in the past. I mean, I think some people go down there and partake in alcohol pretty early. So my wife and I donated to the Santa Brunch. Shop with a Cop is this coming weekend. We have 20 kids that we take care of for that. And we, the foundation put out to the community that they were looking for sponsors. And I think we have 19 kids sponsored. So, which is amazing. We're working on our Christmas toy giveaway with Sun Valley Elementary with some partners that we have. Some Santa that we've worked with in the past is going to donate some toys to give to some kids at Sun Valley Elementary in addition to Shop with the Cops. So that's something that's different. I'm still exploring dispatch options, and I'm hoping to have something here probably in the next month to present to council for direction from you folks. We did recently have an audit. Anytime we bring a juvenile into our facility, we can only hold them for 6 hours. And if it's what's called a non-status offense, so something that's not criminal, so if we pick them up for truancy or runaway or something like that, we can't handcuff them. So we get audited annually by the, there's a division within the governor's office that comes out and audits us. And if we fail that audit, the entire city can be ineligible for state funding. So I will say we passed with flying colors. We had no findings at all. So
Just like that, Chief.
But I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I would like to echo Chief Lehman's sentiments to members of council that are done after this meeting, and look forward to working with current council members returning and the new council members coming aboard. Couple things is we also participated and attended the Lighted Farm Implement Parade. It went very well for us as well. We were able to have a float in there, and our chili feed was successful as well. So we appreciate that. Couple of quick stats. Sent those out earlier today, but as of this morning, we've ran 4,075 emergency calls for service. Again, as of this morning. Again, I always like to talk about our training hours. Last week, we took part in an additional 80 hours of combined training. So our annual year-to-date total is 3,305 training hours. So pretty excited about that. Participate in a couple other events, but otherwise, we're just trying to keep things moving along.
Sure.
Again, I'd like to echo to Mayor Borsman and Councilor Ripley. Thank you for allowing me to be here and obviously participate in this council minutes. And looking forward to the new council and the old people, not old people, but old counselors, the recurring counselors.
I'm the old person and I'm leaving.
Gosh, I tell you, I can put my foot in my mouth very quickly. But yeah, for public works wise, been busy, many committees, and to answer both your guys' question, Ms. Hart, did find the chicken. It's in our open gov. Chicken permitting, sorry, geez Louise. You know it's late when I'm.
I knew what you meant.
In Hector's
Once
defense,
it
he's
starts, Hector.
well,
It's all downhill from there.
Yeah.
Hector's in public works. He's used to digging himself into a hole. So.
It's coming out the hole. It's hard. And then yes. Oh my gosh. At least I can keep it lively here.
We needed that. Thank you.
And then also, obviously, for the right of way, we do have one in our ordinance. It's section B. I can send it to you, so you have all the information there. I don't want to give it out because I've been enough talking. So pass it on, please.
Oh, good.
I don't know if I could follow that. My cheeks hurt.
You're welcome.
I think we all needed that.
We'll get some more of it in the leadership team meeting.
I didn't find the chicken, but I wasn't looking for it. I did hand out a budget position. The budget position that I actually provided breaks it down by each department. And so you're going to see all the different departments, where each department's at. And then in the last page will give you a summary of everything for the city. So currently, well, first I'm going to start because Deputy Mayor Galvan had a question regarding how the budget was put together. I know there was a question with why does it say $50 million? And what it is you take the beginning balance, any of your transfers, and then you take your revenue and add all those together. You take your expenses, any transfers, and then the ending balance and add all those together. And that's how you get your budgeting. And I provided him with 2023 and 24's previous budget so that he could see that it was similar in how it's laid out. The budget that you're going to see that I handed out shows that 50 million that was passed last year. The reason why there's such a huge difference between the revenue budgeted and revenue received is because that revenue budgeted is taking in that beginning balance and then the ending balance as well. And it's not adding, the actual received is not adding either of those. So there is no true beginning balance because of the previous year not being closed. And so the ending balance didn't roll over year to year. So that's also why you're going to see that number. It kind of is like a sticker shock when you're like, wait, there's only 35 million compared to the 50 million we budgeted for. That's going to be why. So take that into account when you are looking at this and seeing that budget laid out. And other than that, I will say that the budget for the General fund is not looking great. It's probably going to end quite a bit negative. Right now, it's already short. So the general fund received 14,755,000, but it's spent 14,979,000 already. And so it's already negative for the general fund. And so when I was trying to do a amended budget, I really couldn't balance one because of it having a negative ending. And so what I think needs to happen is when we're able to get caught up with these reconciliations, I think that the beginning and ending balances need to be reconciled to truly find out where the city is with the general fund. Because we still have a whole month left to go and it's already negative in the general fund. And if you guys have questions, please do call me. There's other ones that I think that just weren't budgeted. You're gonna see, for instance, in like Chief Lehman's budget, it looks kind of funny, but that's because like patrol had nothing budgeted to it, but that's where all the police officers' wages come out of. And so those little adjustments to within their own departments need to be corrected, because then budgeting in the future is going to be easier when you actually have a real line item that you can go by.
All right, thank you.
I know I ruined it. I'm sorry. We were all laughing a second
He should
ago.
have came after. Hector, what do you
Bucket of ice
got?
water, but
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's great.
Bet.
I'm gonna have him read it next time.
I don't have too much exciting to report. Just staff has been working on a network inventory of our equipment, and there's a lot of new equipment that we have to install. So we're trying to figure out where it needs to go. I've been working on that Microsoft licensing to get us updated, and staff also worked on getting a tree to turn on downtown. They were able to get it to figure it out so that we could control it a little better. So we don't often get to work on exciting projects like that. So I just wanted to mention it, that, you know, we were able to figure that out. And that's about all I got right now.
Thank you.
The tree looked great, by the way.
It does.
Well, Public Works did the setting it up. We just made sure it turned on.
Nice.
I asked to go last because I'm trying to gather myself and not be emotional, but I just want to thank Mayor Broersma, Councilor Ripley, and former Councilor Hancock for everything that they've done for the city. We definitely have lived some rough days here together, and we've been getting through them. So I just want to thank you guys and the rest of council as well for being there for staff and supporting us. And Councilor Sasati, you have been great to work with, and I look forward to working with the rest of the newly elected council members. And then I also wanted to give you guys an update on the Arts Commission met, and they are very enthusiastic and excited to get started. They have a lot of ideas and have already given each other assignments on lots of projects. So I'm excited to continue to work with them and help them get whatever they need to get their work done. And Councilor Hart was also part of the Arts Commission. So yeah, again, thank you guys so much. I know we have one more meeting, but this is the last one where we give an update, and thank you guys. Thank you.
You have anything to? Oh, no. Anything you're done? Okay, thank you, everybody, for that. It's always great to be updated on what's going on. And again, reminded how much work you guys are actually doing, so much of it behind the scenes. Item 10, executive session. We're asking for 20 minutes, and the executive session pertains to RCW. We will, executive session. Executive session pertains to RCW Yeah, 42.30.1101C to consider the minimum price at which real estate will be offered for sale or lease when public knowledge regarding such consideration would cause a likelihood of decreased price. However, final action, selling or leasing public property shall be taken in a meeting open to the public. And also same RCW point I, to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency matters relating to agency enforcement actions or discuss with legal counsel representing the agency litigation or potential litigation to which the agency, the governing body, or a member acting in an official capacity is or is likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding the discussion is likely to result in adverse legal or financial consequence to the agency. And we have action expected. Again, we're asking for 20 minutes. So thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Do you have a,
Advertised action is expected and will happen. What is the desire of council on the addendum on the purchase and sale agreement?
Mr. Mayor, I motion to approve an addendum as presented for the feasibility contingency period to extend for an additional 120 days.
And I second.
All right, we got a motion by Deputy Mayor, second by Councilor Vasquez on an addendum as read by the Deputy Mayor. Is there debate on this item?
No.
Hearing none, I'm just going to go with a voice vote this evening. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. I too vote aye. The motion passes. Thank you, everyone. There being no further business to come before council and without objection, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you at our special meeting on the 29th. Have a
Really?
great Christmas, everyone.